They go by very quick.
I've got Mark with me today. Sabrena's at an educational summit with us today, which is a rarity.
That's right.
So she's out there working hard for her clients.
Yeah, I think this summit was kind of a special thing put together by some state and representatives that we have. And so she's been one of a handful of people handpicked, selected to be at it. And as we've talked in the past, there's a number of things going on with our county school system that certainly need to be looked at a little deeper and addressed. Hopefully this is one of many things that's moving in the right direction.
Up and down, left and right, center.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. How do you married to someone that is busting their butt during the day, selling real estate and helping folks sell their homes, and then in the evening and throughout the day, and then in the evening and weekends, she's a local politician, and really, it's amazing all the calls. Even when I'm at her office, at 5:30 in the afternoon, she's on the phone dealing with some type of economic thing that's going to impact us, all the residents of District 7 in a positive way. And then on top of that, she's pushing her education and finishing up her master's degree. What is it like to be married to that?
It's a whirlwind. It's unbelievable. I was talking with a couple of people last night. She actually had a community forum, community meeting last night. She does one about each quarter, so about 4 of them a year. Her and Larry Groen, who is the city councilman for our area. And they move them around to different venues. This one last night was at Christ United Methodist Church. Went until about 8, a little bit longer than normal. A lot of different issues covered. Mainly what's going on in our district. Building the roads, infrastructure, the need for a new school, that type of thing. But I was talking after with a couple of guys, and they were just amazed at how much she had going on. And for anybody that's been in real estate or knows somebody that's been a realtor, training is early, 6:30, 7, 8 in the morning. A lot of people are still doing real estate 8, 9, 10, or even 11, especially if you're trying to hold a deal together.
Right.
So it almost never quits. And to be a realtor, you really need to be able to cater to the people that most people have a job 9 to 5. So they're able to do things in the evening and weekend. So for the most part, real estate is 7 days
24/7
and wide open.
52.
When it's time to go to bed. And so's the politics. So she's always doing something. And like you said,
wow.
I'm very proud of her. She's a hard worker, but she's just wired different. She can do so much.
She's serving her purpose.
Yeah.
So
at a very high level, I couldn't do all this. I can really get down and focus on one thing and take it to another level, but I can't juggle 15 different things at the same time and still deliver different. I'm just not wired that way, and I don't think most guys are.
right.
But
I don't think most good relationships start with and we'll use husband and wife. I don't think they start typically with, oh yeah, we're just like each other. I don't think that usually meshes well.
No, we like to watch a lot of the old Rocky movies, and in the first one,
which one's your favorite?
I like the last one.
4?
No, number 6.
Oh, number 6. Okay.
When he comes out of retirement, I like that one. But in the very first one, Paulie, Adrian's brother, is like, what do you see in my sister? And Rocky says, we fill gaps. And he's like, what are you talking about? He says, I got gaps. He's got gaps. We fill each other's gaps. So
that's awesome.
That's a lot of what we've got going on.
That's really cool.
Her strengths, and then some areas where I don't know that I could say Sabrena has weaknesses. She's got some areas where she's not, great at, but not certainly not a weakness. But that's where I'm. So.
Some people are destined for success, and I think that when you met her, you must have saw that that passion that we all see in her, whether it's through a real estate transaction. And for everybody listening out there, Sabrena runs a real estate company. She helps people buy and sell homes. And my name's Ben Phillips, and you might be listening to us for the first time. I'm in the mortgage business. I've been doing this for over 15 years. And, we do mortgage loans for real estate agents, but really for the clients. And so it's a good mesh. But the thing is I've dealt with thousands of agents, folks.
Yes, you have.
Thousands of agents. I'm not kidding you, thousands. It's neat because it doesn't matter. You're going to deal with all kinds of different people, different types of clients, different types of underwriters, and different types of homes, and then different types of real estate agents. And, I got to say, for the same reason that you're excited that she fills your gaps, her energy, her passion, her determination, wow, her discipline. It's like I'm excited when I see a contract come in that has Sabrena's name on it, as compared to contract come in from a client and it has some agent I've never heard of,
or an agent that you work with, and they just didn't hold up their end of the deal.
Well, right, and I think that's what it comes down to. Is just in my developed experience, I made mistakes along the way, but in that developed experience, I learned that, man, it sure is good to have a good agent on that dotted line. And I think that's, this show is to help people learn how much that experience matters. And, we're all wired different, but one thing is for sure, when you have somebody that's passionate and determined, like Sabrena Smedley over at Sabrena Realty, you've got a better chance to win. And isn't that what we're trying to do? So there you go. There's your commercial for the day, folks. If you're trying to buy a property here in the Chattanooga area, you're trying to sell one, especially she does a lot in Ottawa. Heck, she's everywhere.
She's everywhere. A lot in Ottawa, East Brainerd, Afton, Collegedale.
Yeah.
Quite a bit in East Ridge, and then of course Hickson's a good area.
Sure.
And quite a bit going on in Saudi Days. So she's all over, and including Northwest Georgia. Good school systems down there. So lots going on in Catoosa County, Ringgold area. In addition to being the owner of the business, she's the broker. Got 4 agents under her. And so if anybody ever calls in, they're going to get somebody. It probably could be Sabrena, but somebody else may be taking calls at the office. I know we've got a couple there right now. So
I try to put myself, Mark, in other people's shoes for a second. And so I'm going to imagine myself being somebody out there that's, they're going to start online, right? They're online looking and they see this house that, oh, this looks good. And they all look, a lot of them are made, they're packaged up to look good.
Pictures can be deceiving.
Absolutely. And really what that does is sometimes it'll cause you to need to put your information in to get the photo tour or to get more information about it or get a free quote or find out how much the price is. And then what happens is you get this sort of packaged sales attempt on you, agency that has some, hourly employee calling and pitching off a script and things like that. So I'm imagining I'm in their shoes. I'm in the client's shoes right now. They're out looking for they've decided to buy a home, and they either don't know about Sabrena yet, or maybe they do, but they're just giddy. You get excited.
Right.
And then that's what they say about the car business. Hey, you just get them in the door, just get them over here, and we'll close them, and they're going to buy this car, whatever kind of car it is, even though they didn't intend to buy that car. And then that just needs to be reminded to folks out there is that the internet is such a valuable tool, but it's also a marketing tool for the other folks, and those aren't always, that I would, if it was me and for the person out there in that position right now, what they really need to hear from me right now is that, hey, we need to call somebody with experience, because that there's something powerful about experience. There's something powerful about a woman that can bust her butt from 6 a.m. in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And that's what you get with Sabrena at Sabrena Realty. Yeah. So folks, give her a call. Mark, throw out that number for everybody.
You can reach us at 423-499-7780. That's local 499-7780. And also, like being said on the internet, at SabrenaRealty.com. That's spelled SABRENA realty.com. And in addition to the experience that Sabrena has and everybody else at our office, it's that work ethic. If you've got a lot of experience, but hitting the lake, going to get your nails done, all that stuff comes before your job, the experience isn't doing you any good. You've got to have that work ethic, that drive to address things as they need to be, and not just let it get pushed back.
A big time winner. I mean, heck, she won District 7 against an incumbent, right? Is that called an incumbent?
Actually, it was an open seat. There were 5 people, Sabrena and 4 others running against her.
Right.
So that was a pretty long year. And
you can tell I'm really up on my politics.
you know enough.
There you go. I know who to vote for.
You know,
I do. Yeah, I do my research for sure. In fact, speaking of impacts, the mortgage business, it impacts the real estate business. I mean, you think about it, you're wanting to buy a house or you're wanting to sell your house. There's dollar bills involved, right?
Oh yeah. Paper.
The neat thing about using a real estate agent and a mortgage lender like me is that we actually work for free. We work for free, and if you don't close, we don't get paid. So why wouldn't you use the best? The reason why someone is the best is because of a history of results, right? And so now the word best is typically used a little bit, too much. Yeah. Everybody's the best, right? But at the end of the day, when you do hear about folks winning the real estate agent of the year, or you hear that we did, of the Chattanooga market, including about 300 mortgage companies in the area, you go, wow, that's a disproportionate amount. Yeah. So it's exciting to think about how that success actually does translate into your success. And then on top of that, we work for free until it closes. It's really an exciting opportunity for people out there that are looking for a mortgage or looking to buy a house. Yeah. But back to the news thing, it really does impact us, whether it's the election or whatnot. Everybody knows about these things that have been happening the last few days, whether it's about, a guy planting a device and it blowing up, and, fortunately nothing happened, right, death-wise, but it puts uncertainty out there for folks. And, yesterday we had some anxiousness building up in the mortgage market because the Fed is meeting today, and that impacts interest rates. So whatever they say, they might actually not mean to say it. It might just come out wrong because they're talking live. So they go up there on their just like what we're doing right now. We're at the microphone. We could say the wrong thing, and I've done it plenty of times. And but Miss Yellen, she can literally say, she can be thinking to say something, and she say, well, we're planning, hey, ultimately we're going to raise these rates. Just by saying that, the market can react, and then they lose control. The Fed loses the control of the rates because there is a market behind it. Right. So, think about it like this. The news is impacting us in a significant way, and that has gotten us to this point. The news has gotten us to this point. So here's some facts, not opinions. Mortgage rates are at 50-year historical lows.
Unbelievable.
And you've heard it. You've heard it for the last year or two, and they go up and down a little bit by month to month. So they move daily. They move by the hour. They're always moving, but they're at 50-year historic lows. So that's the history of what, you and your parents and really your grandparents of owning homes. And, when rates were in the marks,
in the early 70s.
Yeah. All the way up to about 83. Okay. They were up over 12%. Yeah. Okay. That they were still doing it.
Because home
ownership did make sense. And the FHA program came on strong during that time because it gave people an opportunity to lock in a low rate, even if they didn't have the best credit. And it actually ended up being the early 80s and all that, when they started getting those rates lowered, when they found a way to, get that market excited again and drive down rates. Guess what happened? We had one of the biggest economic booms that we've ever had. And, it's thanks to that kind of forward thinking, that visionary thinking, and things that we look at the news and we determine how does that news impact us, but then we actually have to see how it impacts us. And, it's just exciting to know that you can buy a $200,000 home right now at the cost back in 1983, it would have been double the payment. Double the payment.
Well, where are rates right now? What's the rate?
You can get people in the twos.
In the twos.
In the twos on a 10 and 15 year, which a lot of folks are doing 15s. They're going to go ahead and lock. Hey,
if you get two, why not?
Yeah, well, I mean, think about this. Let's say you put $300, $400 a month in your 401k. Just hypothetical. After a few years, you might have, $4,000 profit from all that. Maybe 3 or 4 years. How much you put in there? About, $23,000 over 3 years. It's not. I am certainly an advocate of 401k and IRAs, especially because it's pre-tax. So it's actually saving you, but you will, pay the tax later.
Right.
But think about it like this. If I could do a 15-year over a 30-year, and I think it needs to be known that the interest rate is significantly lower on a 15-year. It's usually 0.5% lower. So let's just say that your mortgage payment is going to be $300 higher. Well, think about this for a second. Is it worth $300 a month for 15 years? So that's an extra $300 a month times 12 months. That's $3,600 a year. And then times 15 years. So, you're looking at you're going to pay about an extra 60 grand. But guess how much that saves y'all, folks? $125K, $125,000. So that extra money you put down, the extra $300 a month, saves you a net $60,000 to $100,000 net. That extra payment that you put out. So
you got to run the numbers.
You got to think about it that way, and rates aren't going to be this low forever. We know that for sure because historical. This is a historical mark, and it's just an exciting time. So blessed to recognize that. Hey, I'm ready to buy a house. Key people that have decided, you know what, I got this girl. I've been with her. You might be this guy, and you've recognized you're about to marry this girl, and you want to have a family, and you're ready to step up. You've been promoted in your job. Maybe you're making $35,000, $40,000 a year, and you're like, what's next? And that's what we do as Americans. What's next? Well, the American dream, right?
Yeah, home ownership.
And why is home ownership, Mark, so important?
Well, because you're going to be investing something for yourself. You keep paying the monthly rent on the house that you're renting or the apartment that you're renting. You're making your landlord rich.
Well, and you're paying somebody till you die.
That's right. The day that you quit paying rent,
you're out of a home.
You're out of a home.
No shelter.
You built up nothing.
And I love talking about Bear Grylls when I hear that because he said, I was so surprised. I think it was last year when I saw that new episode. He said, most people think the first thing they need to do when they're stranded on, in some foreign land and they're stuck, that the first thing they need to do is find food or water or find a stream and go look for it. And it struck me so strongly because that's exactly what I was thinking in my head. You got to have food and water. And he said, but that's actually not the truth. The first thing you do is you find shelter. You make a shelter because if you get stuck in that situation, the elements at night are gonna kill you. They're gonna kill you a lot faster than food and water. And I was like, wow, that's I'm just now learning this from Bear Grylls, and it's kind of fun to watch a show and get educated. But the same thing is true. We're talking about shelter, paying rent for the rest of your life versus paying a mortgage payment for 15 years, and then you got 40 years of no mortgage payment. How much is that? How much money is that?
When you don't have a mortgage, the house is paid for, life's very different.
Yeah.
You can live at a different level. You can invest at a different level.
There's something about it. There's some spirit about it. The American dream is the American dream for a reason, folks. Yeah. There's something about it that drives. I don't know if it's a social thing because, you're at work. People know whether you rent or own. Naturally. You're at lunch. You're talking about, hey, so what do you like to do? Oh, I like to go to the pool. Go to the pool? Oh, do you have a pool at your house? Well, no, it's at my apartment complex. I think there's just little things like that. People don't judgmental or something, but I just think there's something socially connected to this American dream, which also has momentum in where you're going in life. Yeah. So, hey, we have a lot of great things to talk about today. This is 1240 a.m. Hot News Talk Radio. We want your calls after the break. We got a special guest coming on. 423-800-8949. We're going to be talking about insurance, and we're going to be talking about the Fed, and also, we want your feedback. I don't care if you have something negative to say about an experience in the past. We can connect that to something positive. I love hearing about problems that folks have, because that's the same problems other people are having. And those problems that's exactly what makes me successful. I take folks' problems and I turn them into solutions.
Right. How can they get in touch with you if they got a problem?
Folks, we've got, we have a phone number that if you call, you're going to get somebody live on the phone in a matter of seconds, and they are going to give you excellent customer service, what you're looking for. They're going to develop an accurate needs analysis, and we will help you do that. You just simply pick up the phone and call 805-9100. That's 423-805-9100. It just takes 10 minutes to talk to someone over at our office right now. We've got, almost 30 employees in the Chattanooga office. We do hundreds of millions of dollars in mortgage loans every year right here in Chattanooga. I'm super tickled about that. I can't believe how successful it's been. I'm so thankful for that success. And it's not just because of the clients out there listening. It's also because of the relationships like Sabrena, awesome agents out there that are just really tied into their client's success and making this world spin a little better.
So you're saying in 10 minutes, somebody that calls in can find out how they move forward. What can they qualify for? If they're not qualified, what do they need to do to work on the little bump they've got on their credit? I mean, it's really 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that starts the whole thing in motion.
Absolutely. And see, think about this, folks. If you look at your finger, you got a fingerprint. If you look closely enough, all of a sudden it starts coming out there and you're seeing it. Just think about this for a second. Imagine that every single person in this world, and there's, over 6 billion people in this world, every single person has a different fingerprint. Now, some are alike, but every single person has a different fingerprint. And the same thing is true. When you call in, you've got an idea. You've got a sort of a goal, and you begin to share that. And then we're going to ask you some questions related to that. We've got trained professionals. I mean, we have an app manager that does nothing but ensure that you are approaching, this goal or this idea in a way that's going to assist so he takes that information and ensures that he gets them to the right person. Because you might be a vet and not think that you qualify for a VA loan. You might be a doctor that doesn't realize there's a special program for you. When we ask some questions about, your situation, you're going to be surprised at where that goes. But we need to know your goal and your idea, and you got to pick up the phone and call us 805-9100. You're going to be so glad you did. And listen, we'll be right back. We got a special guest from Liberty Mutual. Take care, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hi, I'm Sabrena with Sabrena Realty Associates. Now is a great time to sell your home. In our area, inventory is at an all-time low, which translates into higher sales prices. Call us today at 423-499-7780 to set up a free consultation and discuss our unique and aggressive marketing programs. We will provide you with a free market analysis to determine the right value of your home. Call us today at 423-499-7780 or visit our website at SabrenaRealty.com.
We're at the Cantina at Amigos Mexican Restaurant. Yes, sir. 2 orders of nachos with beef and beans, 2 beers. Chattanooga loves its Amigos restaurants, but the Amigos in Hickson has something extra. NASCAR, every race. How about a house wine? Really good. Big name beers, just tell Maria what you want. And here at Amigos, margaritas are popular, and it's only $3 all day. If you come here on a race day, Sunday, a Natty Light is only $2.25. Here at Amigos, just during NASCAR, Natty Light, $2.25. Amigos Mexican Restaurant in Hickson. The happy hour is 3 to 9 today and every day. I'd say the atmosphere is festive. Look at that huge TV. It's like being amid the fans under a bright sun, but no gasoline fumes, no heat. Stay cool. Quench your thirst. Amigos between Staples and Hobby Lobby. Take the next table to mine. Enjoy the NASCAR race with friend or family here at the Cantina at Amigos Mexican Restaurant. Okay, it's started.
Drivers, start your engines.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. The gas situation might be alleviated here soon in the Tennessee Valley. Colonial Pipeline is sending trucks to Atlanta, which are then going to be en route to Chattanooga and then to Nashville and Knoxville to help alleviate the gas problem, the gas price problem here in our area. Our major gas price problem may soon be fixed. This is following allegations of price gouging in the Tennessee Valley from different gas stations. One particular gas station was the subject of a video online which purported to show gas coming out of a gas tank which previously had a plastic bag over it, indicating there was no gas left. The owner of that gas station says it was because air was in the system, which could have damaged the motor. The last Kmart in Chattanooga will be closing here soon on December the 11th following a liquidation sale. One last Kmart will remain open in Fort Oglethorpe and is supposed to stay open for quite a long time. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. Make sure you like us on Facebook and get us on the TuneIn Radio app for your smartphone.
Expect lots of sunshine out there through your afternoon. Warming up, highs later on near 90 tonight. Fair, comfortable again, lows into the lower to middle 60s. For the midweek, not much change. Still looking dry for the next several days with hot afternoons and mild nights and highs of around 90. The workday is unpredictable. Are you ready? Let Centas help you get there. Centas is your source for mats, uniforms, cleaning programs, and more. Get started at Centas.com. Centas, ready for the workday. And I'm Shorsheen 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ford.
On AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Sabrena and Ben Real Estate Hour. I'm Ben Phillips. I've got Mark Smedley here representing Sabrena Firm.
Right.
And, like we said earlier, Sabrena is on a education summit, always busting her butt, working hard for clients and her community. Amen for that. We want to hear from you, folks. 423-800-8949. That's 423-800-8949. If you call us, you're going to go live on the air. Maybe that's the scary part.
Yeah, that might be scary right now,
but it's fun,
call in, give us a question.
Seize the day. Seize the day.
Home ownership, buying and selling, investing.
Yep.
There's a good time to be investing in homes.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Rent rates are up high.
You can buy a home. You can buy a second home for 5% down. Maybe it's on the lake or whatnot,
or the beach,
or the mountains, or the beach. And then after a year, your intentions can change, and you can rent it out. If you buy it as a rental straight off, you're going to put 25% down. So there's the little secret right there.
Okay, very interesting. That's why they need to call a professional. That's why they need
somebody with experience,
somebody that has the experience and the work ethic to make it happen.
I actually was listening to one of my competitors last night. And, they're great people. They're good folks. We've got good competitors here in the local market. And I'm proud to be in this market because the competitors are good. They work hard. There's 3 mortgage companies here in town that I respect dearly. If you went to them, I'd be just as happy for you. I think they do a good job.
Even though they were taken care of compared to some of the other places they could have ended up.
Yeah. Obviously, the competitive spirit of mine, I want everybody to use me because, I do guarantee that I'll beat anybody's deal, and I think you'll be happy that you chose me. But isn't it nice to know that in competition we can be friends? And anyway, I was listening to the radio show last night, and they're good talkers, they're good guys, and they were
not as good as this.
Oh, of course. Come on now. Okay. Come on now.
They're pretty good, but they're not.
Hey, look, anybody watching Facebook Live right now? This is the number one's right here. Okay, number one's right here. So don't take this the wrong way. But they were talking about second homes, and the guy made a comment. He said, I want to have my son and his daughter on it, and my aunt. And I don't know if it was the son's aunt or if it was his aunt, but I imagine it was the son's aunt. So it'd probably be that guy's sister. But they said, yeah, sure, you can have them all on there. And the thing is when you're doing a radio show, you're dealing with a lot of information at the same time.
Right.
But actually, you can't buy this as a second home with multiple parties on it, because that's exactly what it is. It's a second home for the individual family. So the son and daughter and whoever the aunt was, they couldn't be on a second home loan. You can co-sign for a primary residence for a son and daughter or something like that, but you wouldn't be able to get that second home, because at that point it is an investment property. You've got multiple entities, the aunts, the son, the mom and dad, of course, the one making the call, but that becomes an investment property right then. So that's the one key thing about there. If you're out there thinking about buying a second home, you can't have a bunch of folks on it. With that being said, I've got a special guest today, and his name is Patrick Moats. He's with Liberty Mutual Insurance, over there behind the BMW dealership.
Okay, no, right
so,
where you are.
Real close to Sabrena's office.
Close to you.
Yep, close to us.
About a mile.
So basically, I call it East Brainerd Road. I mean, BMW is right there on East Brainerd Road. You have to drive up a little bit and go around to that perimeter plaza. I think it's called Point Center or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So, but Liberty Mutual, they're an insurance company. We always see these folks come on in front of the Statue of Liberty, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is my friend Patrick Moats, and he's been in the insurance business for a while. And let me first say that in the insurance business, it is really tied to everything we do in our life. When we go get in our car, guess what? We're insured on the way to work. When we go to work, our employer has a lot of different types of insurance to protect not just the building, but also his workforce. Even if someone sues him or her, there's insurance for that. There's a lot of, workman's comp, EOCA, all that kind of stuff. Property insurance, that kind of stuff. And then when you leave for the day, God forbid if something happened to you, you want your family to be taken care of. You definitely have life insurance. I think we all understand the value of having some good term insurance, and who knows, maybe a whole life policy when you're the younger, the better. I can tell you that. I'm getting them for my kids now so that their future generations of mine will be taken care of. But then when you go home and you eat dinner, guess what? You got property insurance on that. You got all your cars, your boats, whatever you have. You're so blessed to have that kind of stuff.
Probably insurance on your cell phone.
Yep. Yeah, I got a crack in mine right now. So
there you go.
And I do have insurance on it. But yeah, you got insurance for everything. So insurance is embedded, and it's certainly embedded. When a real estate agent like Sabrena is working on a deal, and when a mortgage lender like me is working on a deal, I'm telling you right now, we are working with insurance folks. And Patrick Moats is one of those folks. We trust him. And the reason we trust him is because of what he does. So I want to give him an opportunity to tell everybody, step up to that mic real close and let everybody give him an introduction. Tell him where you're from and all that good stuff.
I've lived in Chattanooga for almost 30 years now. My dad was a TVA man, and we got transferred here right after I turned 10. So, but I started with Liberty Mutual a little less than a year ago. Good company, good folks. The office here is a great little local office we overlook. Like Ben said, we're right behind the BMW dealership off of 24. So once you go around that corner, you can see us with United Healthcare, Aerotech Recruiting, all those places up there.
Right. Okay. So tell us a little bit about what type of policies that you're helping folks with that are listening right now.
Liberty Mutual, we do your typical auto, home, life insurance. And the one you didn't touch on earlier was personal liability. So, think about this. If you've the kind of work that we do, we probably carry some sort of, just like Sabrena would, like an errors and omissions type of insurance, something to cover if, God forbid we do something incorrect, something wrong, something. But personal liability also covers, let's just say you hear these horror stories of like, oh, these people, their house got broken into and the burglar sued them because he got injured going out the garage door.
The burglar wins.
Yeah. The burglar wins. Okay, well, a liability policy would cover something.
Is that called an umbrella policy?
That's called an umbrella policy.
Yeah, we've got a couple of those too. So those are good to have.
Yeah, auto, home, life, and we use Liberty Mutual obviously as our primary company. But one of the ways we work with mortgage brokers like Ben is, he may call and say, hey, you know what? I've got a client. I need this. In order to make this deal work for me and for the realtor, I need it to be under X amount. And if we can't do that, we've also got a brokerage arm that we can go through. And I can say, hey, here's my price point. What can you get me in that price point? Then I can get get the policy over to you guys so your deal can get done on time. I'm not the reason holding anybody up.
Amen. So insurance is a big part of buying a house. Imagine that. If I'm going to give you $200,000 to buy a house, I can assure you that I want that thing to be protected.
You better believe it.
So, so it's very important. Insurance is a big step. And so, what excites you? What exciting things are going on right now? What are you seeing that's new?
Seeing that's new. You know, I think this is the time of year where everybody says, "Oh, this business slows down. There's houses off the market. Nobody's buying and selling." But were you guys busy this morning? Yeah. Okay, so it's still exciting to see that leading into fourth quarter this year, there's still houses being bought and sold every day. Yeah. You know,
we don't participate in ups in downs of the market. We only participate in the growing.
Yeah, I think the only reason that somebody's not buying or selling a home is because they're not looking for it, you know. But they're out there, and that's the thing. So it's exciting to me to see that in our town we're still growing that much. You know, it's like our phones ring at the office all day. Y'all's phones ring all day. We do business with people like you guys just because you're busy and you need us just like we need you.
Hey, speaking of busy, I know you think that we're, you know, burning calories all day long. So you thought it was appropriate to bring some Krispy Kreme donuts to my office. Yeah. But, you know, the thing is I've been, you know, trying to work on this figure, and it's hard to say no to that darn Krispy Kreme donut.
Especially when they're hot.
Yeah. So, you know, can we kind of come up with some new trend?
A granola bar and spring water.
You know,
maybe some kale chips.
Yeah.
Kale chips. Okay. Well, hold on a second. Let's just keep the donuts coming. Yeah. Heck, go cream filled. I don't care. But you know, it's exciting how we, you know, there's always somebody out there doing it special. Now you don't necessarily know for sure. We think we know. We research to try to figure it out, and we hope that research is good quality research. But you know, at the end of the day, that's one of the things that I do is as a mortgage lender, I am trying to hook up with the right type of vendors. I call them. I call these outside parties. So whether it's a real estate agent, Sabrena, whether it's an insurance agent like Patrick, you know, they don't necessarily have to have 20 years of experience. They have to have some people with experience don't work that hard.
That goes back to the drive and the motivation, the work ethic.
I know a real estate agent that, you know, he was on the contracts, and so we had to get a hold of him, and he never could help us. Every time my processor or my verification expert, loan officer, every time they called, either he wouldn't answer.
Well, I was about to say I was shocked if they answered.
Yeah, most of the time he didn't answer. But the funny thing is what we found out quickly is he was always on the golf course. And I know stuff gets done on the golf course, but I'm sure as heck knowing that
it gets done
when we're working on a $350,000 deal that needs to get closed, and the real estate agent hasn't done their job, you know, getting a special addendum signed that was supposed to be due a week ago, and it's slowing up our closing. And now everybody's calling my office, yelling at me for, you know, his problem. It gets tough, and those are the kind of things we deal with. So that's why it's so important to use the right people. And there's somebody out there doing it right. There's somebody out there doing it special. And that's what's exciting about Patrick. He's, you know, he may be a little bit new in the business, but his passion and his energy, his ability to come through, we've seen that right away. And that's exciting. Tell everybody what, you know, about like what your favorite hobbies are.
Favorite hobbies. I'm a huge muscle car enthusiast. So it made sense for me to be in auto insurance because I like cars. I like talking to people about their cars, talking to people about their homes, their investments of that kind. So,
do you have a special policy for the classics that aren't driven that much?
We do. We actually insure.
What is that called?
It's just called a classic policy or a specialty auto policy. So we compete with the companies that you see out there like Haggerty's, Grundy's, for guys like me that have a car that, you know, it gets 4 miles to the gallon, so you don't drive it to work every day. Nor would you want to because it doesn't have air conditioning.
Unless you're late.
Unless you're late, then you get two.
There on time,
So that's my outside work.
That's pretty neat. Now, what about like golf carts and things like that?
I believe there's specialty policies for golf carts, motorcycles.
Got to be some kind of liability if you run that thing over a kid.
Sure.
Oh,
Off in
goodness
the neighborhood
gracious.
or
Don't
something.
say
Or if
that.
you damage the golf course. You know, you could run over one of their trees or do a donut on the
Mailbox.
green. Yeah.
Or maybe if you're around Chattanooga here in the last couple of days, maybe you just ran out of gas and you're on the side of the road.
Wow.
I mean, you know,
I don't think we insure that, but we offer roadside assistance. So there's that.
I know, but what, you know, I saw folks parked at the gas station, like literally their cars were empty and they just were sitting there. I mean, they I don't know. What is up with the news cycle? I mean, I didn't get that push. I had to hear it verbally from people.
I never heard it either. I actually, speaking of muscle cars, this past weekend was the GS Nationals in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Buick GS. It's Buick's version of the Chevelle, the GTO. Of course, it was made to a higher level and a little faster. But anyway,
69 Chevelle.
I went to the first two gas stations I went to, getting ready to come home, sold out, totally sold out. And I'm thinking, what's going on? The next gas station I went to, they had one pump open, the rest were full. I got gas and hadn't had any other issues. But you're right. I mean, that was a little bit of a concern. You're sitting there and the dash is telling you 45 miles till empty, and your first two gas
50 miles
stations-
from a gas station.
yeah. So that was a little nerve wracking. But since I've been back in Chattanooga, I hadn't had any issues, and I've not encountered any inflated prices either.
Yeah, well, I certainly can tell you that the all up and down East Brandon Road, except for one, they were all out of gas
Really?
Yeah, that's strange.
yesterday.
We even went out Sunday and filled up one of our old cars and drove to a gas station off Bonnie Oaks, put $30-something worth in it, filled it up, drove home.
So let's get honest here. With all the news stuff that was going on here the last couple of days, I immediately thought for sure that, you know, we weren't being told something that may have happened. And then come to find out, it just, you know, there's a pipe that burst in Alabama.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, I didn't hear about it. So I was kind of disappointed that I didn't hear about it. I don't get on Facebook that much, but I hear that 90% of the news comes from Facebook now.
That is so sad.
If not higher. Yeah.
It really is, because there's a lot of things where, you know, someone will say, a friend or something, say, hey, did you know this happened? Like, did you get that off Facebook? Well, yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
It has to be true.
So, but that's really neat that you're into cars. So you really are doing what you love, because you're insuring vehicles and you get to kind of see what's going on there. So.
Absolutely. And kind of like you said earlier, like working with people, you know, we live in a digital age where it's so easy to go online. And just like you, we've got a website. Everybody can go to it, get your quote. But I like working with people one-on-one, because who is the tax company a couple of years ago that had the commercial about, oh, our taxes were done wrong and now we owe. And his wife said, oh, well, why don't you ask the Fox, since you used a program to do your taxes?
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, I mean, you're not going to call a website. You're not going to call a box. You're going to call a person. Because, you know, we've all had those days. I mean, think about the last time you had a bad day. You're late for work. You leave the Starbucks and you find somebody just backed into your car. And you're standing there watching your coffee get cold, and you think, it would be so nice if somebody would just fall down on this guy and help me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what I like to think of myself as the superhero type, where when you say, hey, I'm having that bad day, who's going to help me? That's where I come in and say, hey, I'm going to take care of this. This is what you have insurance for. This is my job. So,
Right.
simple enough.
Very simple indeed. Keep it simple. You know, Sabrina's always educating the folks on the show, and she's always coming up with, she always has these, you know, ways to sell your home, you know, 5 things you got to do.
Yep, tips.
Yeah. So, in honor of that, I'm going to, you know, there's a lot of folks out there that are business minded, that they, you know, a lot of folks want to own a business. They want to be a leader. It's just something we like to do as human beings. We want to rise up, and we want to help others. So, we're going to go over 6 reasons, the 6 P's of building a solid team. And the first thing is this: you got to gather the right people. I can tell you, in my business, the right people is everything. It is a people business. If I have a guy that won't answer their phone when a client calls, if I have a processor that wants to take off early on Fridays, you know, it's all about the right people. So when you're thinking about becoming a great leader, you got to gather a good team, and there's no doubt about it. You got to surround yourself with the right people. The second thing is this: putting people into the right positions. I've moved people around and found their perfect fit, and sometimes I've moved them around and never found the perfect fit.
These two tips remind me of the main theme in Good to Great, the book by Jim Collins. He said, first you got to get the right people on the bus. Once you got the right people on the bus, then you got to get them into the right seat.
So you already are hitting home on the point of all this. And, Patrick, you just talked about simplicity. And so stay high level with this. It's stay focused on right people. There's plenty of wrong people in our lives that creep in, and we need to go ahead and just nail that coffin and get it out of the way. Putting the people into the right positions. Some people are better at going out and bringing the business in, and some people are better at the office, working the day on the computers and such like that. So number 3, you have to prioritize and you have to delegate. Prioritize and delegate. So here's a tip that we learned also in that Good to Great. If you can hire somebody to do a job 80% as good as you, then you need to do it. That's the tip I learned a long time ago, and I always stood by that. And really, I couldn't grow if I didn't prescribe to that. And I think that's good for all these folks out there listening. Maybe they're struggling in their current business. Great tip. Number 4, following the right process. It's easy to work in your business, but sometimes you got to work on your business.
That's really where you should be. I'll go to another book, The E-Myth. Michael Gerber, The E-Myth.
Haven't read that one.
It's fantastic, but he's all about the system. Put the right systems in place and have people follow.
The E-Myth.
Yeah, The E-Myth.
Okay. So it's all about systems, and no doubt about that. It'll help develop strong leadership too, because you're dealing with systems that they're always needing tweaks. In fact, that reminds me of Tony Robbins' constant improvement.
Yep.
As you grow, some of the systems that you created, and put together, they don't work as well as you grow. And the old saying,
constantly refining.
Yeah, you got to constantly refine it. And if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Right. Think about automobiles. They weren't made the same way today that they were in 1903 when Henry Ford invented the assembly.
The black car. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. You only need one color.
No, you can choose whatever color you want.
As long as
it's black. All right. So these are good tips for people. And this could even just go into even having your home. I mean, think about, you've got to have priorities. I can go into someone's home and there's just dust, an inch of dust everywhere. Boy, that sets the mood real quick. And, follow the right processes, make sure you're, dusting your house once a month. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be overkill. But number 5 is grow through participation. You certainly don't grow if you're not doing. Action is the spark of success. There's no doubt about that. I hear those kind of conversations in church a lot, that you got to move, you got to do something. A lot of themes in church right now, I've heard a lot of them about get up and do something. Stop just getting into stuck in the rhythm of nothingness. Golly, life is short. You gotta. I was watching this movie the other night, and it was talking about seize the day, and the Latin word is something else. I wish somebody would look it up for me. Carpe diem. Carpe diem. Dead Poets Society. And it's fantastic. When you think about, when I think about how I got to this point right here. Here I am in this moment with Patrick. I've known him for a little while doing insurance policies, and obviously, Mark, I've known you for years with Sabrena's, not only her real estate agency, but her political campaign. And we're right here, right now. This is the moment. And the information we talk about, we share, people have a good time, they get entertained, they have questions, they learn about things. We're seizing the day. We're going out there unknown to what could happen, but we're taking that risk and connecting to new people. Yeah. And commit to the progress. There's a lot of quitters out there. There's a lot of quitters. And you know what? Frankly, there's good quitters out there. So some folks that didn't plan, they didn't assign the priorities. They didn't choose the right people. They didn't get the right processes down. They didn't participate properly. So they really weren't committed to begin with. So it's all right to quit if you just really screwed up in the beginning.
Yeah.
But think about it. You've got to commit. You got to do it. If you do it the right way, then you can commit to that process. Folks, this is how you build a solid leadership background. This is how you can build a solid whatever, whether you're a sales guy, whether you're an insurance guy. We're so delighted to have everybody today, Patrick, with Liberty Mutual Insurance. Tell everybody how they can get a quote from you. Give them your phone number.
My phone number is 423-596-7387.
Fantastic. And give them that number one more time. They might be trying to write it down.
423-596-7387.
Awesome. Well, Patrick, we really appreciate having you here today.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on,
in.
guys.
And thanks so much. This is the this is the Sabrena and Ben Real Estate Hour, Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m. What an exciting day. We get to come in here and talk to everybody. The sun is shining. Thanks for helping us pay the bills, folks.
Yep. We'll see you next Tuesday, 11 a.m.
Sabrena will be back for us, and I won't be in town. I'll be out of town, but look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks. Have a great day.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Listen up, y'all. Ben Phillips, Home Rate Mortgage, 805-9100. I'm in the business of saving people money. And if you want to save money, pick that cell phone up right now, 805-9100. I received a call that I won't forget. The guy is a Chattanooga police officer who served our great country in the Air Force. A true American hero. Our hero is renting, which costs too much for a space too small. We helped him achieve the American dream. And the best part is this. He purchased a $180,000 home with zero down. His payment is $200 less than what his rent was. And now he has a safe place with more space to raise his family. It's easy, and you can do it too. It just takes 10 minutes and one phone call. 805-9100.
Turn a house into a
They're soaring worldwide. Prices for gold and silver are soaring worldwide. Rick Davis wants you to take advantage of them. Go to Rick Davis right now. Rick Davis Gold and Silver. Get yours today. Your cash, and more cash. Go ahead, take advantage of them. Gold is soaring past $1,350 an ounce. That's 1,350 an ounce. Silver is out of this world too. Buy and sell at Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Gold, silver, jewelry, rings, watches. Rick Davis has got what you want. Right on. Cash.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.
Yesterday on The Herd.
I'm not anti-Iowa. I'm anti-poser. Out of conference, Alabama, Penn State, Ohio State, year after year, the Tennessees, the UCLAs are willing to get on the phone and dial up a team from a Power 5 conference that can beat you.
A new day in The Herd starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You guys can laugh at me all you want.
This is The Herd. The Herd. With Colin Cowherd.
I'm setting the tone.
Best show on radio.
This is The Herd.
Broadcasting live from Los Angeles. The Herd with Colin Cowherd starts now.
This is The Herd. Wherever you may be, however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1, Christine Leahy. Joining me, as always, Christine apparently had some sort of sleep issue last night and pulled muscles in her vertebrae and can barely move this morning, I'm told.
Yeah, I was driving to work going like this to check the lanes around me, but I'll be just fine. But if I look weird, that's why.
Okay.
Either that or I got a stiff neck at the Dodgers game last night. I went to a baseball game last night. It was fun.
Good for you.
Yeah, I saw a big fight.
Oh, big fight, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I just saw a poll. Listen, people lie all the time. People lie all the time, especially in polls. People lie in polls. I remember years ago, I got a phone call. And I got a phone call. This was like, I lived in Portland. This was like 20 years ago. And I got a phone call, and it was a sex survey. And it was about physical health. And it was about your physical health. And about the 8th question, this young, attractive girl asks, how much sex do you have? And I was like, oh, like 7 times a day. I'm robust, man. All day long. I'm thinking, what am I going to tell this beautiful sounding girl?
Yeah, I go downstairs for weeks at a time. My best friend's an otter.
Wait, how old were you at this time?
This was like, it was like 20 years ago.
Okay.
And so I get people say a lot of things and they just make stuff up. And so 20 years ago, it was some physical OHSU medical center. And about the 8th question, she asked about my sex life. And I'm thinking to myself, what guy is going to answer honestly? I'm having sex as we talk right now. I never stop. I'm amazing. My duration's incredible. My stamina's Of course, she sounded cute and I was a guy. So I saw another survey yesterday where Americans just lie. Here's another one, Christine. A new Yahoo Sports survey indicates Americans are deeply divided about the ongoing national anthem protest in the NFL. 44% of NFL fans claim they'll stop watching the NFL if the protests continue. Liars. Liars. Stop watching the NFL. You're the guy that answers the survey and says, I've never watched porn. It made $9 billion last year. Stop it. And the media cracks me up. First of all, I've seen the research. This morning it came out on Kaepernick and how America feels. 47% oppose and 32% support and 15% are neutral. Well, if you take the 15% neutral and you lump them into the support, it's 47-47. That's the way our election's going to work. That's very, very healthy. Remember, neutral is always closer to support than oppose. If you told me, would you like arsenic for breakfast? I'd be like, I'm opposed. Would you like cantaloupe? I'd be like, I'm neutral. You could talk me into cantaloupe, though. You couldn't talk me into arsenic, which, by the way, is what my boss has offered me Monday for breakfast. Probably a sign I'm not in their long-term plans. The point being is that this has all been healthy. And it's not as divisive as everybody says. And 44% rating crashes in the NFL are not going to happen. And it was so interesting. Sometimes I look at the American media and I don't understand how they can't see the obvious stuff. So NFL ratings are down like 10%. And I can just see them. They're all arguing about what it is. Oh, it's got to be the Kaepernick thing. It's not the Kaepernick thing. It's the Trump-Hillary thing. That's why the Olympics were off 15%. It's why ESPN's most popular shows, PTI and Around the Horn, are off 15%. It's why sports programming, especially afternoon, late afternoon, and night, is off 15%. It's not about Kaepernick. It's because Trump and Hillary, CNN, up. Fox News, up. NBC, way, way up. Listen, presidential cycles every 4 years steal some audience. It's just like every 4 years we get the Olympics and they steal some audience for other sports networks. Trump and Hillary, they're going to have a debate, I think, next Monday. Obama and Romney got 70 million. This could get 90 to 100 million people. So, I never really trust surveys. And if you believe there's going to be a 44% ratings dip in the NFL because of Kaepernick, you're lost. That is not going to happen. And I would argue, for instance, right now the NFL's off 10%, but you know where it's not off? Fox. So why would the NFL numbers be down everywhere except Fox? I want you to think about this. So it's not hurting us. Why would that be? It's interesting, right? Like if it was Kaepernick, it would hurt us more than anybody because Kaepernick plays in the NFC. So you're going to see San Francisco games. Seattle's been a protesting team. Philadelphia has been many of the protesting teams are NFC teams. But why aren't our ratings down 10%? Why are we even? Dak Prescott. The Cowboys are the most popular team in America. And this Dak Prescott story is fascinating. Every Monday, it's all I can talk about. Every Monday, it's all my Twitter's filled with. Every Monday, it's all my calls. So Dak Prescott, in an election year, when everybody's numbers, Olympics, NFL, PTI, Around the Horn, legacy programming, been around 20 years, it's all off. The Dak Prescott Cowboy story is keeping the NFC ratings. We have the NFC. We've got Dallas. We've got the Cowboys. That's why For the record, the AFC's on CBS. Brady's not playing and Manning retired. Your two biggest rock stars. That's not helping CBS's ratings at all. And Monday Night Football ratings are down. Why? Because the games have been terrible. We have Dak. We have Dallas. Our numbers are flat. If we didn't have Dallas, potentially our numbers would be down. It's a Hillary thing. It's not a Cap thing. People, for years and years in this business, I've had fans say, I'll never listen again. I'll never listen again. That's the guy that sends me 30 tweets a week. I'll never listen to this game because of this announcer. I've worked at 3 different networks. I worked at NBC years ago. I worked at 4, actually. NBC, I worked at ABC, ESPN. I worked here at Fox, and I worked at Fox in Tampa. Here's what you find out about announcers. As good as they are, Al Michaels, Joe Buck. As good as they are, Jim Nantz, Mike Tirico. As good as they are, Bob Costas. All these guys, they don't affect ratings. They can make the presentation better, but people want to watch a game, they'll watch a game. They'll watch a game. You turn in for the game, not the announcer. It's not to say the announcers aren't well compensated and shouldn't be. You need good quality announcers. But when I see this, oh my God, Kaepernick, it's ruining the league. Come on. What's hurting sports, as we predicted on this show months ago, what is hurting sports in America right now is Trump. It's man versus woman. It's old versus new. It's inflammatory. They're throwing haymakers. Their debate next Monday is going to decimate Monday Night Football. Drew Brees could throw for 900 yards. Nobody will watch. It's not about Cap. It's about Trump. So last night, we got so many things today. I really do. I have so many things I don't even know where to start. Last night, I am watching. What you saw last night with Philadelphia and Chicago was coaching. And I've talked about this before. We all need support systems. You can have talent, I can have talent. But it will ultimately be limited if you don't have good coaching, good bosses, good management, good wife, good boyfriend, good girlfriend, a support system. Our talent is ultimately, there's a ceiling to it without help. I always say Bill O'Reilly was around for 20 years. When he finally got a supportive boss, he became a rock star. You need help. Philadelphia last night, you want to know why Carson Wentz is going to work? Not just because Carson Wentz has talent. So does Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Jared Goff. They've all got talent. Doug Peterson, who worked under Don Shula, Andy Reid, and Mike Holmgren, is on that headset. Basically what Andy Reid has done, or Alex Smith would be out of the league, he reinvented his college Utah offense. Peterson worked under Andy Reid. He's taken that Utah college Alex Smith offense to use with Carson Wentz. Very easy offense to run. It's very good for athletic quarterbacks. It helps all your running backs. That's why the Chiefs and the Eagles now, their rushing numbers will go up. In the end, that is coaching. So Carson Wentz comes into this league. He has a former 10-year NFL quarterback who's worked for Andy Reid, Don Shula, and Mike Holmgren, smart offensive guys. Then Doug Peterson hires Frank Reich, one of the top offensive quarterback guys in the league, and John DeFilippo, who was in Oakland and got Derek Carr running as a rookie. And this staff in Philadelphia is built to help Carson Wentz. And I'm in no way criticizing Carson. He's a very talented kid. But he's got weapons, an NFL head coach who was a quarterback, who last night was on headset, hand-holding him through the game with creative play calling. They built an offense that comes from Alex Smith and Andy Reid, which is very good for mobile quarterbacks. He hires Frank Reich to help him. Offense. Jared Goff in L.A. has a defensive head coach, Jeff Fisher. August 10th of this year, ESPN had a headline on the Rams offensive coordinator, and the headline was "Learning on the Job." He's a former tight ends coach and NFL center, Rob Boris. Chris Wenke's his quarterback coach, wasn't even in the NFL a couple years ago. You can only do so much. Also, by the way, did you see what Doug Peterson did? Doug Peterson comes over. He brings Chase Daniel from Kansas City over, so Carson Wentz's backup already knows Peterson's system. Carson Wentz is going to succeed because they built this football team to let him succeed. Jared Goff, in my opinion, is going to struggle because this franchise is not built to elevate Jared Goff. Carson Wentz has an NFL quarterback, then an NFL quarterback coach, and the guys have learned under Holmgren and Reed and Shula. They spent years in the NFL. Rams offense is run by a tight end and a center who, quote, is learning on the job and has a conservative head coach, Jeff Fisher. Doug Peterson talked about Carson Wentz last night.
And he's seeing things really well, and he's commanding the huddle, and the dialogue on the sideline with players and coaches with him is something that a 9-10-year vet would do, and it's just showing his maturity and the ability that he has to play quarterback.
Yeah, we just say this. In fact, I'm going to give you, I did this morning, and I think basically in life, you need two things to be super successful. You need talent, and you need a support system. And I took every single quarterback. I'm going to do this next. I'm not going to give it up next. And I'll tell you my prediction on their success based on talent and support. And I combine the two. It's really interesting what you come up with. And it's remarkable how accurate it is with these 4, 8, 10 new quarterbacks from Blake Bortles to Jimmy Garoppolo. That's around the corner. Also today, Peter King. Antonio Brown of the Steelers joins us. Well, at DraftKings.com, you don't need to come in first place to cash in. Did you know that? You don't have to win it. The player who finished 800 in Week 1's biggest fantasy football contest took home money. Okay, this weekend, DraftKings is hosting another huge fantasy contest. It's over $1 million, over $1 million in total prizes. No season-long commitment. You play when you want with the players you want. You just pick the contest, you draft your team, and you follow the action live. Don't wait. Go to DraftKings.com. The guy who finished in 800th place, could have been a girl. I don't know. I have no idea. They won money. 800th place. Go to DraftKings.com now. Choose the players for this weekend's contest. Please enter the code HERD. That allows you to play for free with your first deposit. Over $1 million this weekend, total prizes up for grabs. DraftKings.com, promo code HERD to play for free.
Wars come and go, but my soldiers stay eternal.
Now you can listen to Hot News Talk Radio anywhere streaming live at Noogaradio.com. That's Noogaradio.com.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Shooter Supply, any A-frame, 20% off, 10% off, 5% off, everything in the store's on sale. 5, 10, 20, September sales days. Shooter Supply, handguns, carry permit classes, ammo and gear. You get 5% off of firearms, 10% off of ammo and gear, 20% off of all handgun carry permit classes. Shooter Supply, September sales days. But you gotta get here now, it's ending soon. Shooter Supply, any A-frame. We're on Hickson Pike, right around the corner, right next to the Holiday Inn Express. Shooter Supply and Indoor Range. Shooters-range.com. Order online. Shooters-range.com. September sales days.
Whole body vibration really works for weight loss, pain relief, circulation, and building bone density. Go to Lily's as seen on TV and talk to Dottie at the Gun Barrel Road store and Robert at the 153 Hickson location. 10 minutes equals 1 hour walking. It really works.
MLS 2239. Listen up, y'all. Ben Phillips Home Rate Mortgage, 805-9100. I'm in the business of saving people money. And if you want to save money, pick that cell phone up right now. 805-9100. I received a call that I won't forget. A family of 5. The husband's a TVA engineer. Financial stress was rising from medical bills and children in college. We lowered their rate, paid off their bills, and saved them $800 per month. Now they're living stress-free. And the best part is this. They're skipping 2 payments and paying off their home 7 years faster. It's easy, and you can do it too. It just takes 10 minutes, 1 phone call to 805-9100. There's no cost and no obligation. So why wouldn't you call 805-9100? Or if you're at your desk like me, get a quick quote at HomeRateMortgage.com. That's 805-9100 or HomeRateMortgage.com.
I'm Larry Daniels from Daniels Insurance, and on the average, our customers save $400 a year. We offer retirement vehicles and annuities in addition to other investment products that help you protect your family. Call 423-332-4774.
All systems go.
Got a printing project on deadline? Advantage Printing in Brainerd offers the highest quality one-stop service in Chattanooga. Graphic design, printing, addressing. Don't create a mailer unless you first check with Alan about the latest postal hassle. He'll handle the whole thing for you. Advantage Printing. Your advantage is in our name. 4031 Brainerd Road next to the Bilo. Print digital or offset, wide format, engineering drawings, start to finish. Advantage Printing. Check the details with Alan. 629-1800. That's 629-1800.
All systems go.
Hi, this is Mike at Wholesale Liquidation, Highway 58, next to Taco Bell, featuring over 6,000 square feet of unique and everyday wholesale items, discounted to, get this, 50 to 75% off of retail, from new and pre-owned tools to chainsaws and auto accessories. Wholesale Liquidation, Highway 58, next to Taco Bell.
The NASCAR racer's ideal is quality and excellence. So is mine. Hi, David Tulis here. My pit crew is S&S Auto Repair. I've taken Toyotas and Hondas to S&S for 13 years, even though it's way out of my way. I like being treated fairly, like a neighbor. S&S specializes in Toyota and Lexus, Honda, Acura, Scion, Nissan, and Infiniti. Make an appointment today and get a free 4-inch combat knife as a gift. 855-3436. ssautorepair.net. 855-3436.
Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Hi, this is Jerry Recco. Join Kevin Ray, Danny White, and myself for all the action.
Hot News Talk 1240.
If it's the NFL, it's right here.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Kids are out of the house or in another room. Toss the matches, hide the ashtrays, and put your foot down. If you're going to smoke, you're going to smoke outside, because smoke can linger for longer than you think. And just a little secondhand smoke can be enough to trigger an asthma attack. The same goes for the car. A couple of puffs in a space that small is more than enough to cause trouble. So stub it out before you step in. Hey, it takes a lot of willpower to quit smoking, but it can take a lot less to quit smoking in the house, and it can make a big difference to a child with asthma. Discover other simple ways to prevent an asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS or visit noattacks.org, because no child should feel like a fish out of water. Brought to you by the U.S. EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
When you're done belting out that one song stuck in your head. Yeah, that one.
Oh, I'm going to slap myself.
You're a little crazy, you know it?
Flip on over to us at iHeartRadio.
Just listen to the show and have a nice time.
Who are we? This just in. We're FSR in your search window. Type in Fox Sports Radio and enjoy us every day.
This is pretty much what the internet was designed for.
We are Fox Sports.
Hi, it's the Herd. When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Now back to the Herd.
Herd brought to you by TrueCar. Ready to buy a new one? Download the app, the TrueCar app. See what you want, see what others paid for it, guaranteed savings. And you save time, and you save money. 877-757-HERD. Peter King next hour. The Herd Hierarchy next hour. So I was saying, I watched Carson Wentz last night, and I saw a story this morning. The Cleveland Browns fired scouts who favored Carson Wentz before the draft. Drafting quarterbacks is hard. It's not nearly as hard as Cleveland makes it, but drafting quarterbacks is hard. But I believe this in every walk of life. Doesn't matter if you're a school teacher. Doesn't matter if you're a wife, a husband. You know, there's a certain innate talent people have to do certain things. A, that's the most important. And then B, it's your support system, which is I've always thought is undervalued. Andrew Luck has a lousy support system. Trevor Simeon's got John Elway in that defense and Gary Kubiak. He's got a great support system. Last night, Carson Wentz has a great support system. Doug Peterson, former quarterback. Frank Reich, under Andy Reid. They bring the right offense in. They bring Chase Daniel over. In a really, and their schedule so far has been Cleveland and Chicago. Those are bad teams. So it all looks great for Carson Wentz. But I said, there's a passer rating, then there's the QBR rating. How about this? I went to the last 3 years. I didn't count Johnny Manziel because Johnny Manziel just didn't work, and I think he's got addiction issues. Let's take him off the board. I took every quarterback in the last 3 years that, we see now playing, right, or is about to play. And I judge their talent. 1 to 10, I judge their talent. 1 through 10. 1, no talent, 10, superstar. And then their support system. 1, no support, 10, massive support. And then I have a combined score. And I think my opinion is this is going to give you a sense of who is going to succeed and who is not going to succeed. So we start at the very top. My 2 highest rated. Garoppolo's about a 7.5 out of a 10. His support's a 10, 17.5. Carson Wentz has more talent than Garoppolo. He's an 8.5. His support's very good. It's a 9. 17.5. I think Garoppolo and Wentz appear to be the combination of talent, support, very high. Jameis Winston's talent, like Wentz, 8.5. His support, Dirk Cutter's good. It's not Belichick or Peterson creative good to this point. I'd give him a 17. Derek Carr, I think he's got talent. I don't think he's Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz talented. I think he's got talent. I think he's got a great offensive line. I like his coach right now, 16.5. Dak Prescott, I don't think his talent's as good as Jameis Winston. I don't think he's as big as as strong. I don't think he's as talented as Carson Wentz. I don't think he's as talented as Jimmy Garoppolo. They all got drafted above him. His talent's a 6.5. But he does have a great O-line, Des Bryant, a good offensive coach, and running backs. That's a 9, 15.5. Teddy Bridgewater, don't think very talented, has a great defense. Bridgewater was the toughest one for me to get my arms around. I don't see it as an offensive staff. I think he's going to be largely a game manager, but I do like his defense, and I do consider that support. Trevor Siemian, I don't think he has much talent. I gave him a 6.5. I was being generous. Support those outstanding in Denver, 14. And then it goes Marcus Mariota, Jared Goff, Blake Bortles. I think Bortles has no support. He's a 7.5 talent. Jared Goff and Bortles, about the same talent. I don't think either have support. So at the very top, it was Garoppolo and Wentz. Right below them, Jameis Winston, Derek Carr. And then at the bottom, it's Blake and Jared Goff and Mariota. Because I think there are limitations to what Bortles has helping him, Goff has helping him, and Marcus Mariota has helping him. So that is the C. That's the HQBR. That's the herd quarterback rating. It's pretty simple, but I think that's going to be true. I'm going to struggle to see Garoppolo, Wentz fail. I think they're too talented, and I just love what Philadelphia's done now. I just love what they've done. I like the offense they brought over, the backup they brought over, the quarterback coach they brought over. I didn't know who Doug Peterson was, but I watched last night and was blown away. I mean, that guy was headset, locked in, board. I mean, creative, clever. At the goal line, they're running offense that John Gruden couldn't even get his arms around. Really, really impressive stuff. Really impressive stuff. Listen, it's hard to draft a quarterback. It's not as hard as Cleveland's making it. Cleveland fired scouts who favored Carson Wentz. That's ridiculous. Why would you fire people who have different opinions? Scouts are giving, if you want scouts to be honest, you don't want them to play it safe. You want scouts to be honest. If scouts are going to be honest, they're going to tell you sometimes, I don't like this guy. There was a lot of reasons to doubt Carson Wentz. A lot of reasons. Who did play? He missed 8 games. His team went 8-0. I mean, the competition wasn't very good. Never played in front of large crowds. We didn't know what he'd be. He's been very good, but I don't think he would be nearly this good if you put him on the Rams. And that staff, they got a center, former tight end, running their offense, and he's learning on the job. Christine with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
At this point, it doesn't look like the Patriots are going to bring in another quarterback to back up Jacoby Brissett in the case that he gets injured as well for the game Thursday. So their option would then be Julian Edelman. Tom Brady was asked about this because, he's sitting back watching all of these games, and he thinks that Jacoby Brissett is fully capable of stepping in and doing a fine job. I think they have no other choice. Yeah. And here's what he said, if it does come down to Julian Edelman stepping in.
If that's the case, then, I'd expect Julian to go in there and the coaches to be comfortable with the plays that they're calling for him. He still talks about that touchdown pass he threw against Baltimore a few years ago. So actually, maybe it would give him a little more ammunition if he did well. But if he didn't do so well, he's kind of batting 1,000 right now. So there's only one place to go.
Well, at practice this week, they're probably giving him like a set of 10 plays to go to if that does happen. But you're a big fan of Bill Belichick. Is 4 days enough time to get a new quarterback
You know what
ready?
I always think on these Thursday night games? Here's what I always think on these Thursday night games. Obviously, nobody can prepare as much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whoever plays on Thursday, I usually favor the team with the better culture. Because you don't have to prep. So you have to lean on your history.
Mm-hmm.
You have to lean on, are we formidable? Are we smart? Do we have smart players? Because nobody's healthy. By Thursday, players are sore. Veteran players are sore by Thursday morning. So if the Steelers play on a Thursday, I would just take the Steelers. If the New York Giants, if the Patriots played, if Green Bay played, I would take generally the better football culture because nobody's preparation by Thursday. I mean, I think we forget the difference between Thursday and Sunday.
Yeah.
You don't even practice in the NFL till Wednesday. Like you get 1 day of practice in. So it can't be about schematics. I think a lot of times, this is why the NFL, the one smart thing they did is they have division rivals play.
Mm-hmm.
A, it cuts down on the length of travel. But B, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh sort of know what they are.
Right.
Baltimore and Cincinnati know what they are. So if you play Seattle and San Francisco, generally it's an easier game to prepare for. New England, Miami.
I would say the same thing too, but when you're down to your third or potentially fourth string quarterback, I think that's a different ball game. But you can't bring in, especially when you have just 4 days to prepare, a new quarterback. Like you could, I guess, get Michael Vick or Matt Castle.
Right.
They're not going to learn what you need to do in 4 games. So don't waste your roster spot.
Yeah.
Also, Tom Brady was talking about the Patriots and how they handle adversity. They've had a lot of adversity. They're having no Brady, no Rob Gronkowski, no Jimmy Garoppolo. He said it's amazing the way our team responds to adversity and the way our coaches prepare us for all these different kind of situations. How much money, we talked about your bet, was it on Iowa last week?
Yeah.
How much money would you be willing to bet that the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year?
High. I think Pittsburgh, New England, and whoever comes. Here's the thing. I don't think New England would win necessarily the NFC, but they don't have to play all those NFC teams. They've got to play one. So if they play Carolina at the end of the year, Belichick gets 2 weeks, he can beat Carolina. It's a prime example is a lot of times I see this in college football. A team, I don't think Michigan would be able to win the SEC. But if Michigan can just beat Ohio State, they could end up playing Alabama and then getting a week, 10 days to prepare for Alabama. I don't think New England would necessarily. I don't think they have the best roster. I don't think they'll win the NFC necessarily with that gauntlet. But if Pittsburgh's their only team that matches up with them, they may not even have to play Pittsburgh based on who plays Pittsburgh before New England does.
I'm just so excited for when they all do come back, how great they're going to be and how fired up they'll be too. And finally, there was a story I told you about yesterday that the Redskins locker room is losing faith in Kirk Cousins because of his lack of decisiveness, his erratic play, some confusion. And now Jay Gruden is responding to that report.
Kirk's game will take care of itself. So we have total faith that Kirk will get it done, and he will get it done. He's proven that he can be a successful quarterback in this league. He can make all the throws without a doubt. Guy just got to continue to run hard for him, block hard for him, and good things will happen.
Kirk Cousins responded to all of it too, and he said that he understands the criticism. So he's got to know that people really don't feel like they trust him. What do you do if you're Kirk Cousins in this situation?
I think you draft another quarterback.
Well, he's not going to draft another quarterback. For Kirk Cousins, I mean, that's a tough position to be in. He is who he is. I think he's trying the best he can, but you know that your locker room doesn't believe in you. What do you do?
You don't do much. You just try to, it's funny about personality. Like Jay Cutler's personality is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of grumpy, and Aaron Rodgers is sort of condescending, and Brady is sort of pumped up and like almost like a teenage boy. He's always like overly engaged and rah. I think it's weird. It's just like some guys are confident, some guys aren't. I mean, Kirk Cousins, when you watch him on the field with Dak Prescott, Dak looked more confident than Kirk Cousins. Now, some of that's because Dak has a great offensive line in Des Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very, very, like you can change things in life, right? Like I could be a baseball pitcher and I could learn a curveball. I could, but in the end, the only way you can become a doubles hitter to a home run hitter is steroids. Like by 24, if you're a singles hitter, you don't become a home run hitter unless you use HGH.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with confidence. Like people based on their childhood either were told they were great and had a very supportive environment. I mean, Kirk Cousins is what he is at this point. He could maybe get a little better arm. He could learn the offense more, but physically, I just don't see him as an elite thrower. He's not an elite guy. He doesn't have great feet, doesn't have a great arm, doesn't have great size. There's nothing great there. Like Jameis Winston has great size, has really, really, really high-end feet. A lot of that's just DNA.
But you know what gives the guy confidence is if his locker room is supporting him. I don't like that kind of stuff is leaking because that's not going to do anything good for you.
Christine, what news?
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd
So
Line News.
I went and watched Sully last night, the movie. You know I love my guy, Tom Hanks. So it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. I wanted to work out, but I was sort of tired, and I looked in movies, and there's 4 movies right now. Can I just say this about Hollywood? We went through this 4 or 5 year thing where it had to be sorcerers and witchcraft and comic book heroes, but there's 4 or 5 movies out right now, one with Ben Affleck's an accountant, the Snowden movie, the Sully movie, then there's a cowboy movie I like, Hell or High Water. So like there's 4 movies right now. None of them are comic book movies. Thank you, Hollywood. There's dialogue. People have they're expressive. There's smart writing. It's not like stuff blowing up and people flying around and escapism. So thank you, Hollywood. So I'm going to throw this theory out to you, and I'm probably wrong, but if you were involved with Sully in Los Angeles or New York, call the show and tell me if I'm wrong. The phone number is 877-757-HERD. So I go to the movie last night. And it was an hour and like 29 minutes. It started, I turned my phone off at 4:06. I turned it on at 5:29. The movie was an hour and a half. It was very tight. It's the only movie I've ever been in that it ended and I wanted about 10 minutes more. I've never gone to almost every movie. You're like, okay, you could have edited 15 minutes here. It was really smartly edited. Very well cast. Aaron Eckhart was great. Hanks was great. The casting was terrific. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, it felt like a movie that they thought was going to go an hour 40. And to make the movie tighter, they edited it down and it came up a little short, but it was good short and they just went with it. Because I got home, my wife's like, well, what was it about? I mean, obviously, and I said, well, it starts kind of in a dream sequence. I don't want to spoil anything. What they did is they went behind the scenes and they made the hero, Sully, put in question Tom Hanks. They kind of put him in question. Did he make the right? And then at the end, it comes to, you'll figure out what happens. I'm not going to give away the movie. Go watch the movie. It's great. But if anybody was involved with this, it feels like they made an hour 45 movie and it was okay. And they just kept cutting. And they got to about an hour 28. It's a little short. But when the movie ended, my takeaway was there wasn't a single wasted scene. That movie editing was a big part. Not that acting wasn't great. Not that casting wasn't good. Not that writing wasn't great. It was. But that editing made that movie. That they had an hour 45 and it was a little loose. Because when I walked out, I thought that feels like it's shorter than they probably planned. But it was really smartly edited. I mean, the last scene is like, okay, it's over. And I was really okay with it. And I got to tell you something. Okay. I just, if anybody's involved in that, it's the only movie I've ever gone to. I wanted about 10 minutes more, but I was satisfied by what I got. I was okay with it. I would say it's a B movie. It's the way my movie reviews go, watchable, unwatchable, totally watchable, strongly suggested. First of all, how in the world, I wouldn't take my son to it. There's no swearing, but I wouldn't take my son to it or my daughter to it. I don't want them to see plane crashes and freak out because I want them to be able to enjoy travel. First of all, I've watched a lot of movies with planes in it. You got to credit whoever made this movie. Give me the studio. They did an unbelievable job to recreate that crash on the Hudson. I mean, I'm telling you, that's as good a scene in a movie I have ever seen with an aircraft. God, was it realistic. It was really amazing. Anthony in Portland, you watched the movie. What did you take away?
So it's a heavy situation. What happened was really intense.
And so it was fascinating to be learning all these details about it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you know, it ends and I'm literally on the edge of my seat. And like you said, you know, you want 10, 15, 20 minutes more of, you know, these details and this intensity that you're feeling.
Yeah, Anthony, that's, and again, it's a B movie. I strongly suggest you go see it. The people who put it together deserve
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers deserves credit. It was very, very well done. But I've never gone to a movie that ended and I wanted more. And
Did
I
you
felt
go in IMAX or regular?
ArcLight.
ArcLight. Oh, IMAX is the one that, you know, the big circular.
I don't think it was that.
You would know.
It was me and 4 old people.
Okay. Did you go by yourself?
Yeah, when you go to these 3:30 movies, it was just me and old people, old couples. That's how I'm going to retire. I'm going to watch a lot of movies.
Lovely.
Yeah. It was very, very nice. Old people, they were eating popcorn, making out. That was a little gross. But the point was, it was old, loving couples. Okay, I have to segue to this. So I'm watching Jay Cutler last night, and I'm not a fan of Jay Cutler. But what happens in sports, I call it low sports self-esteem, is that cities and teams like play in the shadow. The Mets play in the shadow of the Yankees, so they have low sports self-esteem. They make moves reacting to the Yankees. The Clippers do this with the Lakers. It's happened, you know, the White Sox could do this to the Cubs, whatever it is. And there's certain franchises. The Chicago Bears have a fairly pathetic history at quarterback. So they get into this relationship with Jay Cutler, and they're so desperate, and they know their history, and it's so pathetic that now it's almost like a relationship. You feel like last night, finally, maybe Chicago figured it out. Dump this loser. I mean, that's what Jay Cutler is. Losing record, losing personality, losing coordinators. He's got talent. So did Jeff George. But Cutler's anti-leadership. Do you know Cutler's never made a Pro Bowl in Chicago? 11 quarterbacks made the Pro Bowl in the NFL last year. Jay Cutler didn't. Jay Cutler's been in this league 11 years. He's had 2 winning seasons and gone to 1 playoff game. God, that makes Ryan Tannehill feel like Unitas. It's unbelievable. And Chicago just can't let go of Jay Cutler. They're scared to get rid of him. Washington has been a grease fire for a decade. They've been to 2 playoffs in the last 4 years. Like, what is Chicago? It feels like one of these relationships that's never been ideal. And last night finally was that bad argument or that bad date. And finally the woman's like, I'm dumping this loser. Like, I'm over it. And by the way, he's not a cheap date. He's $16.5 million a year. But I just don't understand Chicago. What are you afraid of? 11 years, 2 winning records, 1 playoff? I don't get it. He's got a 67-69 record. People criticize Matt Schaub. He had a winning record and as many playoff wins. Alex Smith has double the playoff wins and is 17 games above 500. And I hear all this, Jay Cutler's had a lot of coordinators. You know who's had more? Alex Smith. And he's got a significantly better record and double the playoff wins. And he's a nice guy. Remember Drew Bledsoe talked about this yesterday on the show? This whole thing about, Jay Cutler's had a lot of coordinators. Jay Cutler, he's had so many coordinators. Oh, give me a break. Tom Brady's had multiple coordinators. You got to win games. But I think Bear fans, Jay Cutler's never made a Pro Bowl. Drew Bledsoe talked about all the coordinators he's dealt with. In your career, did you ever get stuck on a team that had mostly defensive coaches and you felt kind of like you were on an island a little bit?
I had all defensive coaches my whole career.
Oh, wow.
I had defensive head coaches, and then I had 8 coordinators in my last 11 years.
Bledsoe winning record, 3 times the playoff wins as Cutler. It felt like to me, finally, Chicago, you realize you've been in a relationship with somebody that doesn't treat you well at all. Herd hierarchy, Peter King next hour. For years, I've been telling you about mind-blowing comfort of Tommy John underwear. Don't like underwear generally. Wear this. Wearing it now. 21st century men's underwear. It never rides up. So it gets tucked in, and it stays tucked in. That's why I wear it. No bunching up. It's unreal. Wife wears it. In fact, a couple nights ago, she said, Tommy John hasn't sent you underwear in a while, right? She goes, I miss it. That's what she said to me last night. She doesn't miss me, just the underwear.
Doesn't she?
I go on a road trip, doesn't miss me, misses the underwear. Go to TommyJohn.com, check out their new video. It calls attention to the Stay Tucked guarantee. Stays tucked, stays dry, stays hidden. TommyJohn.com, please use the code HERD and you'll get 20% off your first order at TommyJohn.com, code HERD.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Rick Davis has the cash. Rick Davis will give you top dollar for your gold, silver, diamonds, and coins. You'll get international prices. It's like he's giving away money. Top dollar for your gold, silver, diamonds, and coins. There he goes. More cash out the door from Rick. Rick Davis will give you top dollar. Top dollar for your gold, silver, diamonds, and coins. Cash, 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 and more cash. Rick Davis has the cash and diamonds. Rick Davis will give you top dollar for your gold, silver, diamonds, and coins. 5301 Brainerd Road. You know where it is. Cash, 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 and more cash.
We're at the Cantina at Amigos Mexican Restaurant. Yes, sir. 2 orders of nachos with beef and beans, 2 beers. Chattanooga loves its Amigos restaurants, but the Amigos in Hickson has something extra. NASCAR, every race. How about a house wine? Really good. Big name beers, just tell Maria what you want. And here at Amigos, margaritas are popular, and the whale, it's only $3 all day. If you come here on a race day, Sunday, a Natty Light is only $2.25. Here at Amigos, just during NASCAR, Natty Light, $2.25. Amigos Mexican Restaurant in Hickson. The happy hour is 3 to 9 today and every day. I'd say the atmosphere is festive. Look at that huge TV. It's like being amid the fans under a bright sun, but no gasoline fumes, no heat. Stay cool. Quench your thirst. Amigos between Staples and Hobby Lobby. Take the next table to mine. Enjoy the NASCAR race with friend or family here at the Cantina at Amigos Mexican Restaurant. Okay, it's started.
Drivers, start your engines.
We've got a table here at Delia's, ready to delight in a plate of authentic Mexican food. Delia spreads a rich selection: loaded nachos, crazy chicken, homemade tamales, maybe the enchiladas with beef, chicken, pork, quesadillas. Every dish beautifully pictured on the menu to help us decide. We're at Delia's in Saudi Daisy near the Thrasher Light. There's dinner. Delia's uses the freshest ingredients, cooked to perfection. Nacho chips made fresh every day in the kitchen. Delia's, open every day except the Lord's Day. Treat yourself to Delia's genuine Mexican food. 521-7145.
This is Mike at For the Record at Northgate Mall. We're the largest complete record store in town. We sell old and new vinyl records, celebrity posters, music posters, and we are the largest in town. Come see us.
Rubber's tough, but foam rubber is soft. Foam rubber is the star at Stuff It Upholstery, which uses it to revive your couch, your embarrassing easy chair, your boat seat cushions. Stuff It Foam Rubber in Hickson covers Chattanooga and surrounding areas. Don't throw out that favorite easy chair that's grown haggard and barbaric. New life for your seat cushions. Premium auto-grade rubber foam for your restaurant, church, or business. Stuff It Upholstery brings comfort and relief. Go ahead, skid away from flat, dull, and droopy cushions. Relax, restore, revive. When comfort matters, stuff it. Mention Monica Lewinsky. Get 10 cents off on the dollar. 877-1616. That's 877-1616.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Tax services, accounting, cash flow. We're small business specialists. I've been helping families and businesses for 35 years. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339. We make life less taxing.
Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community, offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58.
888. Go to CrossCreekChattanooga.com. That's CrossCreekChattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to CrossCreekChattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas.
Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's got third. He's going for second. Earnhardt going for the lead.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is on the Motor Racing Network.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Hear it live on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Check it out live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240.
www.nmaus.org.
Hey, listen. 1, 2, 3. Some listen to iHeartRadio for the songs.
When the night is cold, I got that fire in my soul.
But others listen to iHeartRadio for the sports.
This is one of the coolest things that Fox does.
What do you want me to do?
Just search FSR. That's FSR.
Let me hit you with some knowledge.
And listen to the best sports talk on iHeartRadio.
Breezy.
Who are we? We are Fox Sports Radio.
Hi, it's the Herd. When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Now back to the Herd.
Yeah, it is weird. Sometimes you have these relationships. Herd hierarchy, top of next hour, and Peter King, too, and Nick Wright. You know, it is funny sometimes, though. Like you find a quarterback and you just put your arms around him. Everybody wants to defend Jay Cutler. He's a loser. He's got a losing personality. He's got a losing record. I mean, the guy, he lost at Vanderbilt. He loses in Chicago. It's like what I say about Ryan Tannehill. You got to show me some wins. I mean, don't get me wrong. Your support system matters. But they had Greg Olson, Pro Bowl level tight end, Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, Matt Forte. Those are way above average offensive support. Kyle Long's a Pro Bowler on the offensive line. Do I think the Bears' offensive line is very good? No, I don't. I think it's a lousy offensive line. But he's got a Pro Bowler on it. He's had above average wide receivers. He had Greg Olson, above average tight end. He had Matt Forte. Look at what he's doing to the Jets. I mean, you can make excuses and excuses and excuses. It's like the Aaron Rodgers thing. I mean, everybody's making excuses for Aaron Rodgers. At some point, it's on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I am a believer in a support system. My argument is it's not like Cutler hasn't had support. He's gone through a lot of coordinators because they don't win enough games, and they have to fire coordinators, and nobody wants to work with him. And yes, their offensive line last night stinks. And John Fox is not exactly creative offensively. But at some point, you play football for 15 years, you got to give me some wins. God, Tim Tebow won in this league. Mark Sanchez won in this league. You got to give me some wins. Come on, you got to give me some. You know, it's always an excuse. You know, Aaron Rodgers, we got into this yesterday about Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is really talented. But I think part of what when Aaron Rodgers, his first year he started in the NFL, I want you to think about this. And again, I think Aaron's talented, but he doesn't blow me away like he did like 7 years ago, right? When Aaron Rodgers broke into this league, these guys were starting in the NFL. I went and looked at the 2008 passing leaders. Phillip Rivers, Chad Pennington, Jeff Garcia, Matt Castle, Sean Hill, Seneca Wallace, Donovan McNabb, Cutler, Trent Edwards, Jake Delhomme, Jason Campbell, David Garrard, Kyle Orton. He broke into the NFL in 2008. There were a lot of backup quarterback talents. Now it's 8 years later. It's Russell Wilson and Andrew Luck, Cam, Stafford, Big Ben, Mariota, Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, 6'8" Brock Osweiler. There's bigger, stronger, faster athletes than Aaron Rodgers who don't have the condescending attitude and are bigger than 6'2", or they're more athletic. So when Aaron Rodgers came into this league, you know, don't get me wrong, you had Brady, you had Breeze, you had Manning, you had a very, very young Big Ben. There were quarterbacks, but half the teams in this league were starting a Jake Delhomme, a Jason Campbell, a Seneca Wallace, a Matt Schaub, a Chad Pennington. Now, there's a lot of guys out there, they're simply more athletic. They're bigger. They're stronger. Jameis Winston's a bigger, stronger Aaron Rodgers, and with better feet. Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Mariota, Cam Newton. You know, weren't around. So I think the quality of the quarterback play, I think it's in the golden age. I think there's a lot of really good young players. I think Aaron Rodgers back in 2008 felt like the new iPod. Woo-wee. Now it's 2016. There's a lot more gadgets out there. There's just a lot more gadgets. Nothing against the iPod, but it was like revolutionary when it broke in. And now technology is advanced where there's just a lot of good gadgets out there. I mean, Aaron Rodgers hasn't had a passer rating over 100 in 14 games. Dak Prescott's already had one. In the last 14 games, Aaron Rodgers is completing 57% of his throws. That's way below average. At some point, we're always blaming everybody else for Aaron Rodgers. Let's be honest about it. He's a smallish 6'2" quarterback who ad-libs a lot with a hell of an arm, but he doesn't win a lot of the big games. I went this morning to the last 10 great teams he's played. Not the last 10 games. To the last 10 great teams, really high-end, upper third teams Aaron Rodgers has played. We'll start with Minnesota on Sunday night, loss. Arizona last year, playoffs, loss. Minnesota, loss. Arizona again, loss. At Minnesota, win. Carolina, loss. Denver, loss. Kansas City, Seattle, win. 3-7. He's a 6'2" quarterback, ad-libs out of a lot of plays. Not always the most hyper leadership guy. He's a little aloof. And I sometimes wonder, after the first week, trust the process. A lot of new guys playing along. Sam Bradford had a whole new football team. He looked good Sunday night, didn't he? So, all I'm saying is with these colors and these Rodgers, everybody's making mistakes. Win more games. You've got plenty of good players around you. 99% of the players in this league are not worth a point. They're not worth a point. Mike McCarthy's a really good coach. Aaron's got to win more games. Got to complete more passes. He's got to stop ad-libbing out of successfully drawn-up plays. The Herd, brought to you by DraftKings, the destination for one-week fantasy. Play for free if you go to DraftKings and use the code HERD. $1 million up for grabs. See site for details at DraftKings.com. Peter King, Herd Hierarchy next. Over $1 million in total prizes up for grabs this weekend at DraftKings.com, the destination for one-week fantasy. No season-long commitments. Play when you want with the players you want. Just pick your contest, draft your team, and follow the action live. Use the code HERD at DraftKings.com now and play free with your first deposit. That's HERD to play free for your share of over $1 million in total prizes this weekend. Only at DraftKings.com. Eligibility restrictions may apply. See site for details. You know all about the life-changing comfort of Tommy John men's underwear. The only underwear I wear. Well, just wait till you try their undershirts. They'll keep you 2 to 3 times cooler than traditional undershirts. I wear one to bed every night. Plus, they're backed by the Tommy John Stays Tucked guarantee. Tommy John stays tucked, stays dry, stays hidden. Get to TommyJohn.com now. They've got a new video up that explains everything. Plus, save 20% on your first order. 20% with the promo code HERD. That's HERD. 20% off TommyJohn.com.
Geico presents a voicemail from your...
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Fox News Talk 1240.
Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. The gas situation might be alleviated here soon in the Tennessee Valley. Colonial Pipeline is sending trucks to Atlanta, which are then going to be en route to Chattanooga and then to Nashville and Knoxville to help alleviate the gas problem, the gas price problem here in our area. Our major gas price problem may soon be fixed. This is following allegations of price gouging in the Tennessee Valley from different gas stations. One particular gas station was the subject of a video online which purported to show gas coming out of a gas tank which previously had a plastic bag over it, indicating there was no gas left. The owner of that gas station says that it was because air was in the system, which could have damaged the motor. The last Kmart in Chattanooga will be closing here soon on December the 11th following a liquidation sale. One last Kmart will remain open in Fort Oglethorpe and is supposed to stay open for quite a long time. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. Make sure you like us on Facebook and get us on the TuneIn Radio app for your smartphone.
Expect lots of sunshine out there through your afternoon. Warming up, highs later on near 90 tonight. Fair, comfortable again, lows into the lower to middle 60s. For the midweek, not much change. Still looking dry for the next several days with hot afternoons and mild nights and highs of around 90. The workday is unpredictable. Are you ready? Let Centas help you get there. Centas is your source for mats, uniforms, cleaning programs, and more. Get started at Centas.com. Centas, ready for the workday. And I'm Shore Sheen 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ford.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
You feel better outside your home or business than in? Indoor air quality is important. Mildew, mold, smoke, water, and rodent damage are prime causes of poor indoor air quality. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals, better known as Duct Busters, cleans HVAC systems using 127 definable Duct Busters steps. Let Mark Thompson address the indoor air quality at your business to help reduce employee illnesses. Prevent fires by cleaning your dryer vents. Mark and his parents, Dick and Joan Thompson, have been building our local economy and helping local people with HVAC systems 16 years. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals. Call 876-9907. 876-9907. Ducks. Call now.
Hi, this is Mike at Wholesale Liquidation, Highway 58, next to Taco Bell, featuring over 6,000 square feet of unique and everyday wholesale items, discounted at, get this, 50 to 75% off of retail, from new and pre-owned tools to chainsaws and auto accessories. Wholesale Liquidation, Highway 58, next to Taco Bell.
Shooter Supply, any A-frame, 20% off, 10% off, 5% off. Everything in the store's on sale. 5, 10, 20, September sales days. Shooter Supply, handguns, carry permit classes, ammo and gear. You get 5% off of firearms, 10% off of ammo and gear, 20% off of all handgun carry permit classes. Shooter Supply, September sales days. But you gotta get here now. It's ending soon. Shooter Supply, any A-frame. We're on Hickson Pike, right around the corner, right next to the Holiday Inn Express. Shooter Supply and Indoor Range. Shooters-range.com. Order online. Shooters-range.com. September sales days.
Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community, offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas.
If the South would have won, we'd have had it made. I'd probably run for president of the Southern state. The day Elvis passed away would be our national holiday. If the South would have won, we'd have had it made.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy.
I'm Jeff Carson.
Chattanooga.
Last hour on the Herd.
A new sports survey indicates Americans are deeply divided about the ongoing national anthem protest in the NFL. 44% of NFL fans claim they'll stop watching the NFL if the protests continue. Liars.
There's more to come right now in the Herd.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
You guys can laugh at me all you want.
This is the Herd. The Herd. With Colin Cowherd.
I'm setting the tone.
Best show on radio.
This is the Herd.
Broadcasting live from Los Angeles. The Herd with Colin Cowherd starts now.
This is the Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles. Hope you're having a great day on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Peter King in 30 minutes. Herd Hierarchy in 15 minutes. The couple stories today. Carson Wentz looked great, but as I said to start last hour, Carson Wentz has an incredible support system. Doug Peterson, who I didn't know much about, I've done some homework on him, has been so engaged. Doug Peterson played for 10 years, knows Holmgren, played under him. Andy Reid coached under him, Don Shula. Then he hires Frank Reich. He's got all these offensive players around Carson Wentz. And last night, Carson Wentz looked spectacular because he had a good support system. I remember telling people years and years ago, I had a friend, and he was in Atlanta radio. He's a real talented guy. And he didn't get like terrific ratings, but he was a really, really talented person. And I said, dude, you're on a radio station that I can't pick up if I lived across the street. I said, you got to have a stick. If you're not on a good stick, go work for a radio station that has listeners. You can only do so much regardless of your talent without a stick being a good signal. Well, Carson Wentz is going to succeed in this league because he's surrounded by offensive-minded guys who are creative and smart and have basically taken Andy Reid's Alex Smith Utah system to Philadelphia, which is going to help the backs. It's simple. It'll keep Carson Wentz moving around, and that was a joy to watch last night. It was smart. The offense was completely built for Carson Wentz. They even brought over the backup quarterback in Kansas City. Doug Peterson was an assistant there. He brought him over to help Carson Wentz. All that support. Christine Leahy joining me as always. Let's bring on Nick Wright here, who's got poor Nick doesn't have his own show yet. He will eventually, and he's got so much to say, and he sits around all day, and he's got all these rants. The poor guy is just going crazy. So I was saying this with Aaron Rodgers. Listen, there's some troubling things here. You can look at the fact that passing yards per game, his completion percentage. We can yell at offensive lines. We can point fingers, but at some point, Aaron Rodgers' numbers over the last 3 quarters of a season have noticeably dipped. Why?
All right, so I think everyone agrees that this last game he played, one of the worst of his career, that he was really bad this weekend. And the second half of last year, as you're mentioning, he was not the guy we've become accustomed to.
Right.
Despite that, at the end of the year, he had a 94 quarterback rating.
He's
he
a good player.
31 touchdowns, 8 picks. I think he has not been the same since really Jordy got hurt. And we'll see if Jordy coming back. I mean, last year he was throwing to a dude in a hoodie, James Jones. So a lot of guys would have trouble with that. But I also think his decline's been overstated by some, at least a bit. Let's not forget Aaron Rodgers, the season before last, NFC Championship game, up multiple scores against Seattle to go to the Super Bowl where they would have been favored over the Patriots. We are not far removed from Aaron Rodgers being amazing. I'm not certain what's going on the last few, the end of last season to right
12
now.
to 14 games. Yes. I mean, I go back to this. Andrew Luck AFC Championship, then a beat-up kidney, now there's something going on in that organization. Grigson's lost outside of Cleveland. I'd argue worst personnel in the league. Quarterbacks, Peyton Manning's 4th year in the league, interceptions spike. Eli Manning, based on coordinator, up, down. Brady's fairly bulletproof in the Belichick system. Drew Brees. I mean, you need help. Like Carson Wentz last night, I watched and I'm like, that lucky kid.
Wentz, man, yesterday, I mean, he got screwed a bit by some drops or his numbers would have been off the charts.
Right.
He looked really, really good coming out of North Dakota State, where I thought when it was between Goff and Wentz, I thought Wentz probably had the higher ceiling, but I also thought, gosh, this is going to be a long time. Like you're going to have to, it's going to take a while.
Well, that's what all the data told you.
Right. That's what I assumed, because it's not like I'd watched him play at North Dakota State. I just assumed, okay, small school, but he was impressive.
He's ready
yesterday.
to play. Monday Night he's ready to play.
Can I say something about Luck real quick?
Sure.
If you remember, a month ago when we were arguing about Luck, and I brought up Russell Wilson. And people say, well, Wilson couldn't do what Luck's asked to do. And I turned it on its head and I say, how do we know Luck could do what we ask Wilson to do? Because the assumption is he can. Like if he needed to dial it back and just take care of the football, he could. That's all he needed to do Sunday, and he couldn't. Sunday, the Broncos got 1 offensive touchdown. Andrew, just don't kill us. That's all we need today.
Yeah.
Don't kill us. And he killed him. He was 8 for 23 for 58 yards and a pick 6. through the first 3+ quarters of that game, and then a fumble 6 that lost it for him. Like, Andrew Luck gave up 15 points against that team.
So you can't describe, you don't quite know what's happened for like the last 15 games with Aaron Rodgers. I have a similar thing with Luck. I don't know why he's so bad in the first half and so great in the second.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
I don't know the answer to it. My feeling is poor first half teams are generally poorly coached.
Okay,
Blake Bortles, 3 first quarter touchdowns.
I saw that I saw that stat this weekend as well, because Bortles, here's what Bortles is benefited by. People don't watch his team. Nobody watches Jacksonville. Like, you've got Sunday Ticket, you got all these games on. Jacksonville's like in the small TV, or you're not even watching it. So at the end of the day, when you're just looking at boxers, like, oh, Bortles, 285 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, but it's all in garbage time.
He is awful in the first half. My argument is that's a defensive-minded head coach who's going to get fired. They don't know how to
the defense stinks.
They don't know how to game plan offense. I think similarly, Luck has a defensive-minded head coach who doesn't know how to game plan.
All right, I might buy that, because the first half, especially first quarter, in the first quarter,
Luck is
he's dreadful.
Every single week. By the way, Joe Montana, Belichick, why do they get leads? They design 15, 20 plays. Some coaches are great. By the way, Nick Saban's offenses aren't very good in the first quarter.
No, and I know we're bouncing around. Alabama's been funny this year, because there've been a couple games, the USC game, the game this weekend, where it looks like, oh, wait, this could be a game. And then I feel like what happens is the other team's front by mid-second quarter is just so broken. Like, you've just had Alabama offensive and defensive linemen hitting you.
Right.
They're just so much bigger that after a little bit, their bodies are just falling apart.
So my point is, some teams game plan better. Some teams, Pete Carroll's teams, historically better second half teams. I think Luck and Bortles have deficient head coaches at game planning. Therefore, their first half stats are awful.
Real quick, even for the year Luck was really good, year 3. The worst quarter, if you go quarter by quarter, first quarter. Every year of his career, his least productive quarter is the first quarter, and then he gets better.
So earlier, people talked about the ratings are down. 44% of NFL fans said, any more of these protests, I'll stop watching, to which I said 44% of football fans are liars.
Right.
The ratings are down because of Trump. That's why the Olympics are down. That's why programming at ESPN, which has years and years of ratings, are down 10 to 15%. Around the Horn, PTI. Those are good shows. Problem being,
everyone's ratings are down but yours, Colin.
Well, we're brand new, so we had a low floor. The only network that's not down is Fox Sunday Football. Why? Dak Prescott Cowboys is a fascinating national story. So what do you make of the ratings down in the NFL?
You mentioned Trump. So I think it is, I hear what you're saying, that everyone's focused on the election. I think it's a little more than that. And this is unfortunate, and I don't like it, but I think it's reality. I think in the last 8 years, and it's because we're so polarized, some people will blame President Obama for this. I'm probably more likely to blame the reaction to President Obama for this. But everything, even football, is politicized.
Everything.
There used to be where, and I'm not trying to old man anybody, but it used to be that like politics were hot and heavy, but then there were things that were escapes from it that politics didn't even touch. Now you have people, forget the Kaepernick stuff, which obviously is going to be politicized, but just the sport of football
is political.
Some people think, well, liberals want to kill it. And so and so I think that we have gotten to a point to where everyone's Twitter feed is an echo chamber of what they want to hear. Everyone's, surrounds themselves in the bubble that reinforces, and I do the same, reinforces what you already believe. And I think it's getting harder. Football was one of the few things that everyone could come to.
And there was no politics.
I don't think there is anything left that everyone can come to it. So even if it's just 5% of people, and I don't think it's because of Kaepernick, I just think it's because of the environment, that everyone says, oh, well, I'm not watching that, or I'm not into that, or that's not my team. And I don't mean like the Chiefs are my team. I mean like my political team. I think that's where we're going. I think the idea that there's going to be a zeitgeist that everyone gets behind, I think we are moving away from that in this country. I think there will be dueling zeitgeists, the zeitgeist of the left and the zeitgeist of the right. And I just think those two worlds are not crossing anymore. Like it's a scary thing. And I know a lot of people who probably see the world a little differently than me will blame President Obama for this. I don't think that's fair. But it has, once he got elected, the way we looked at things that weren't supposed to be political changed. I mean, school lunches became political. Damn, Michelle Obama wants your kids to be healthy. The weather. You know what I mean? Miami might sink. Oh, screw you. Prove it. Like the whole thing. And that's just right now. That's the world in which we live.
Okay, you got something good on taunting penalties and the shocking increase of penalties. If we do it, there's a video at the very end of the Browns game, and Terrell Pryor, there's a taunting penalty. So you believe, and I think that celebration becomes often taunting, so you have to be very careful. Yeah. I think we have a right to be human, but I also think you go into a 7, 8, 12 seconds, now you're taunting me, so I understand why soccer leagues in England and Spain and our football league here keeps their eye on celebrations.
All right, so if people didn't see the end of the Browns game, the Browns were up 20-0. They blew it. Of course they did. But they're down 5 with 30 seconds left, and Terrell Pryor catches a ball to the 10. Down 5, a touchdown wins. The ref is standing there. He tosses the ball to the ref. The Ravens defender stands up as Pryor's tossing the ball.
Yeah.
So the ball hits him in the shoulder. A different ref sees it, thinks he's throwing the ball at the Ravens defender, 15 yards. Now you're not at the 5 anymore. You're back at the 30. Because
changes the game.
It totally changes the game. First and goal with 30 seconds left from the 10, you are a favorite. You're the Browns, so you're a coin flip to win the game. You're back to the 30 is where they ended up. So, but this is not a one-off, and this is the jarring number. Last year, 24 taunting penalties called all year. This year, we are on pace for 80. Almost 350% increase. We were on pace. There's already been 10. There were 24 called all of last season. And this is, we got into it about celebrations. I don't think there should be celebration penalties. And I'm really an extremist on this. I don't really care about taunting. Like, short of doing something that on the street would get you punched in the face. Like, if you want to, after you make a first down, let somebody know your coverage sucked, man. You want to spin the ball in their face. These are pro athletes, man. Like, I don't need my delicate sensibilities protected. And what I really don't need is this: games being altered by a miscalled taunting penalty
is outrageous.
It's insanity. And by the way, there's no consistency to it. Another thing nobody noticed this weekend: Titans win the game by 1. They come back against Detroit. Andre Johnson has his first good play as a Titan, or big play, catches a touchdown. There's less than a minute left. They go up by 1, right? It's 16-15. Andre, in a moment of jubilation, fired the ball into the stands. That's 15 yards according to the NFL's ridiculous rules. They didn't call that. Well, the Lions were down 1. You back that kickoff up 15 yards, all of a sudden, you're almost instantly in field goal range.
Unless you have Janikowski kicking. Yeah.
Right, no, the whole thing, like, it's so there's no consistency to it. You can now be thrown out of the game for 2 taunting penalties, and it's increased by almost 350%. It's just, when I talk to football fans, here's a conversation I've never had. Loved last season. You know what we needed more of, though? 15-yard taunting penalties. That's what would get me back to the couch.
Herd hierarchy around the corner. Nick Wright, good stuff. Thanks, buddy. It's the Herd.
Hey, it's Ben Maller here. Did you know that by turning the tab on a soda sideways, it doubles as a straw holder? Or that hole in a pot handle is designed so you can rest your spatula in it? It's amazing how some of the things we use most can easily be overlooked. It's just like how TrueCar also helps people get used cars. That's right. TrueCar isn't just for new cars. Their certified dealer network also has an inventory of over 500,000 pre-owned cars nationwide. So whether you buy new or used, you get pricing information that empowers and a better buying experience through our TrueCar certified dealer network. Here's another fun fact. TrueCar customers receive discounts off the list price for used vehicles and are more likely to enjoy a faster buying process when they connect with a TrueCar certified dealer. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar.com or download the TrueCar app to enjoy a better car buying experience.
Some features not available in all states.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. The gas situation might be alleviated here soon in the Tennessee Valley. Colonial Pipeline is sending trucks to Atlanta, which are then going to be en route to Chattanooga and then to Nashville and Knoxville to help alleviate the gas price problem here in our area. Our major gas price problem may soon be fixed. This is following allegations of price gouging in the Tennessee Valley from different gas stations. One particular gas station was the subject of a video online which purported to show gas coming out of a gas tank which previously had a plastic bag over it, indicating there was no gas left. The owner of that gas station says it was because air was in the system, which could have damaged the motor. The last Kmart in Chattanooga will be closing here soon on December the 11th following a liquidation sale. One last Kmart will remain open in Fort Oglethorpe and is supposed to stay open for quite a long time. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. Make sure you like us on Facebook and get us on the TuneIn Radio app for your smartphone.
Wars come and go, but my soldiers stay eternal.
Now you can listen to Hot News Talk Radio anywhere, streaming live at Noogaradio.com. That's Noogaradio.com.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Hi, this is Mike at Wholesale Liquidation, Highway 58, next to Taco Bell, featuring over 6,000 square feet of unique and everyday wholesale items, discounted to, get this, 50 to 75% off of retail, from new and pre-owned tools to chainsaws and auto accessories. Wholesale Liquidation, Highway 58, next to Taco Bell.
Hi, I'm Adam Disbrow, the owner and the head surgeon of Cell Surgeon. Broken screen? You need it repaired now. We can do that. We'll have your phone repaired within the hour. No hassle, no mess, no stress. We love fixing cell phones. Your cell phone has become part of your daily activities. You've noticed your cell phone is not charging properly. It could be a charge port issue or your charger. Come in for free. We'll test your phone and your charger. You have an expensive phone. Don't feed it with a cheap charger. A cheap charger can actually damage your device. Our high-quality chargers are affordable. Cell Surgeon, 140 Northgate Mall Drive, right next to Old Chicago Pizza. 423-668-0100. www.thecellsurgeon.com. Please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thecellsurgeon.
Get $10 off a screen repair. Mention Hot News Talk Radio. Broken screen, phone not charging, water damage, battery given out. Cell Surgeon in Northgate Mall next to Old Chicago Pizza. Check us out on Facebook. Open Sunday. Cell Surgeon. We bring your phone back to life.
Bill's Smoke Shop in Saudi Daisy has everything to please your good taste. It's across from the Hardys in Saudi Daisy. Come visit Bina. She has all kinds of treats for you, including beer. Bill's Smoke Shop, Saudi Daisy.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton, tax services, accounting, cash flow. We're small business specialists. I've been helping families and businesses for 35 years. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339. We make life less taxing.
I shave my jowls, my plungers fail, my sink's all clogged, who'll now me bail? My tub slips slow, how do I drain? Oh, plumber help, oh, ease this pain. Toll's backed up, I'm about to snap. Who'll clean this load, my woe to slap? Yea, raise the man, on him I'll call. Ray the plumber will take the fall. Need floor and sink, old creep and crawl. Other pipemen are need them small. My washer groans, the floor's a mess. Raise the grunt, who proves the best? 421-6341.
Expect lots of sunshine out there through your afternoon. Warming up, highs later on near 90 tonight. Fair, comfortable again, lows into the lower to middle 60s. For the midweek, not much change. Still looking dry for the next several days with hot afternoons and mild nights and highs of around 90. The workday is unpredictable. Are you ready? Let Centas help you get there. Centas is your source for mats, uniforms, cleaning programs, and more. Get started at Centas.com. Centas, ready for the workday. And I'm Shortine 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ward.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott Powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a race front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocks him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Hear it live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240.
The voice of NASCAR.
It is time to come clean with my audience.
With Colin Cowherd.
Peter King's joining us in just a couple of minutes. All right, don't want to waste any time. Every Tuesday after the Monday Night Football games, in the second hour, we will do what we call our herd hierarchy, the 10 best teams in the league. I take it serious, more serious than I probably should because I love the NFL. So here on FS1, this is our 10 through 1, our herd hierarchy. Here we go.
Herd Hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
I'm going to go Green Bay Packers. Here's the bad news. 30th in yards per play. Vegas watches that number. They average less than 4.5 yards a play. They're not dynamic enough offensively. But they are first in rush defense. Okay, they've got their problems on offense. We largely think they'll figure it out with Aaron Rodgers. But their defense can't run on them. That's a top 10 team.
Number 9.
New York Jets. Again, let's look at yards per play. The New York Jets are first in plays of 10 yards, 10-plus yards. Now, think about that. That's with Ryan Fitzpatrick and a defensive-minded coach. What does that tell you? They've got really good receivers, and they've added Matt Forte. Okay, this offense, Ryan Fitzpatrick, fairly nimble, doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Jets are a dangerous team. I don't think they're a Super Bowl winning team, but they could affect who gets to the Super Bowl.
Number 8.
New York Giants. They've rebuilt their defensive front with Olivier Vernon. It's super expensive, but they've got a real pass rush. Okay, they've also drafted well at corner, and they're the least penalized team in the league, which is something that's always driven me crazy with the New York Giants. The Giants, I think, do have a team that could win the Super Bowl. I think they're still rebuilding their offensive line, but they don't make a ton of mistakes and have a big boy grown-up pass rush.
Number 7.
Denver Broncos. Listen, let's go back to that number. First in yards per play allowed. You can't move the football on them. Pass rush. Best corners in the league, Harris and Talib. Maybe the best safeties in the league. Sideline to sideline covering linebackers. Now, Trevor Siemian, there are limitations to Trevor Siemian. But here's the thing. He completes 68% of his throws. And doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's not going to throw it over the top. He's not going to make any plays. But they've beaten Andrew Luck and Cam with Trevor Siemian because of that defense. Broncos 7.
Number 6.
Cincinnati gets beat up because they lost to a really good team in Pittsburgh. And they lost to Pittsburgh for the 6th time in 7 matchups. They just don't win this game. They just don't win this game. And they did not run the ball at all against Pittsburgh, which makes Andy Dalton the centerpiece. He had to throw 54 times. That's not what you want with Andy Dalton. But I still really like this roster. Listen, they played the Jets on the road and Pittsburgh on the road. Okay, Cincinnati's played the toughest schedule in the NFL so far.
Number 5.
Arizona Cardinals bounce back. Jameis Winston's a good young quarterback. They picked him off 4 times. And what I like about Arizona, they have a defense that creates offense. Arizona has created 7 turnovers. That's the most in the NFL. And again, that's with Jimmy Garoppolo, who looks pretty good in New England, and Jameis Winston, who he thinks pretty good as well. Wait until they play the bad quarterbacks.
Number 4.
I think Minnesota, I'm telling you, Sam Bradford makes them really interesting. This guy was 22 of 31 for 290 yards, and he's been in town a couple of weeks. Stephon Diggs is a nightmare matchup on the outside. Their defense is outstanding. It's in the Carolina-Denver class. It's younger and less experienced. But they forced 4 fumbles, recovered 2 and a pick against Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. Minnesota is a Super Bowl roster.
Number 3.
Carolina dropped 46 points in an NFL game. Cam Newton had 350 yards passing. Kelvin Benjamin had 13 catches. Their front 7 is stacked, but at times hasn't played up to their talent. I think that's just a matter of Ron Rivera coming off a Super Bowl, little lethargic. I think Carolina ultimately gets it going defensively up front.
Number 2.
New England Patriots. What can I say? 2-0. No Brady, no Gronk, no problem. Beat Miami at home for the 8th straight time. Now, I think Thursday is going to be very interesting because their offensive line at the tackle positions has not been very good, and Houston's got Clowney and J.J. Watt. That could be a nightmare game. That is a very interesting matchup. The Patriots' O-line is what keeps them from being number 1 in my book.
Number 1.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time they went 2-0 to start a season, 2008 and 2010, they made the Super Bowl. And that Cincinnati game wasn't just a win. Cincinnati's a loaded roster. They controlled Cincinnati. They controlled them on the perimeter, and they controlled them up front. And Cincinnati is one of the 5 best rosters in the NFL. That was not just a win. It was a convincing win. Good for Pittsburgh. Best team I've seen in the league so far. Here's Christine with the news.
No.
Turn on the news.
This is the Herd Line News.
A quick update on Jimmy Garoppolo. It looks like he could potentially play now on Thursday. Either that or Bill Belichick is playing mind games with all of us, which is very possible. He was asked about that possibility and said that a medical degree is not one of the degrees he was required to get as a football coach, but could participate or possibly participate in Tuesday's walkthrough. And he said it would depend on the situation if he would be available on Thursday's game. So we could see Jimmy Garoppolo being okay to play on Thursday, or at least maybe he'll dress.
I will say this. When he went down and all that weight on his shoulder, it reminded me of Sam Bradford's first college injury. The first thing I thought is, that's 260 pounds on your shoulder. But, I mean, he's also a very young kid. And some guys are built to last. Some guys aren't. Yeah. I mean, depending on the player, that could have been a much more serious injury because he came off the field writhing in pain.
I thought he was going to be done.
No. That looked like an 8-week shoulder separation.
I've heard, though, that he's a very, very tough player. He can handle a lot. Mm-hmm. So you were confused yesterday about what is a meniscus tear.
Yeah.
Have you ever broken a bone? No, never had to have surgery.
I'm very passive. No.
Right. So I went on the best possible source you can find to find out what a meniscus tear is, WebMD. That's what you go to, right, when you get sick. Mm-hmm. And WebMD says that a meniscus is a rubbery C-shaped disc that cushions your knee, and it keeps your knee steady by balancing your weight across the knee. So a torn meniscus can prevent your knee from working correctly. Not as serious as an ACL or an MCL. I'm just trying to educate you here.
Right.
So you don't have this confusion anymore.
Yes.
And part of this article says, if you are older and your meniscus is worn, you may not know what you did to cause the tear. I think Adrian Peterson does know what he did to cause the tear, but he is older. However, he's not yet ruled out for week 3. He could potentially play with this torn meniscus. Do you feel like he needs to just rest, or he should play through this? Because he is getting older.
I think he's getting older. He's overrated. This team's about that defensive roster, that head coach, and that quarterback. And I think Adrian Peterson's not the same running back, and I don't think he's going to matter. I really don't. I mean, I don't think Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson are the reasons teams win in this league. I think you can find running backs. The Vikings are about that defense, Bradford, and that head coach who's very good. It's not about Adrian Peterson. His days of influence are over.
Rex Ryan is catching a lot of heat for firing his offensive coordinator, while he also hired his brother, Rob Ryan, as their defensive coordinator. Their defense is terrible this year. So here's how Rex defended his decision.
I think my brother's done as good a job as anybody coaching in this league. So I think that's, but I get it. I mean, that's always going to be out there. But hey, it comes with the territory, and now it's time to move on. I'm focused on Arizona, and I better be.
By the way, their defense is ranked 23rd.
Find me the last 4 teams that Rob Ryan's coached for. Tell me all the great coaching. I mean, again, what are the results? Show me the results. Rob Ryan defenses aren't great. Show me the results.
I'm surprised you even gave me an answer there. I thought we refused to talk about any Bills news.
The Ryan brothers wear me out.
That's the news.
Christine with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
Herd brought to you by TrueCar. Save time and money. Download their mobile app. See what others paid. You could save $3,000 off MSRP. Save time and money. The TrueCar app. I checked it out. It's good stuff. Kevin in Los Angeles. You're in the Herd, and you go ahead.
Hey, Colin. I just want to talk about the NFL ratings. You mentioned Trump, and I disagree on that. I want to make an educated point on it. First of all, full disclosure, I'm a 49er fan, so I love the 49ers. And right now what Cap is doing, I think it was divisive, kind of like Dabo Sweeney said. I mean, the first thing he did, guy wore pig socks. Let's start there, and he hasn't fully apologized for that. Secondly, it's divisive, and everyone's talking about these new conversations. And Christine made the point the other day that it's actually creating more of a divide. There's no new conversations on the ground. It's actually closing conversations. The Cowboys weren't allowed to honor the police. The NFL was quick to take that down. But they're allowing all this to happen. The people weren't allowed to wear 9/11 cleats, or they're going to get fined. The cops do a lot for us. A lot of people appreciate them. And, they just arrested the guys who bombed Chelsea, and things like this. And it's
but if, Kevin, I always go to data. If the NFL ratings are down because of Kaepernick, why aren't they down in our network? Because we have Kaepernick's games.
because you're actually being fair on your end, and the Cowboys were playing, which is actually like you made the point earlier.
Yeah, I mean, if Kaepernick's the
Jerry
reason,
Jones supported it. Jerry Jones supported
Kevin,
it.
it's all talk. The reason our ratings aren't down is because we have Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, and America's fascinated by that story. Ratings are down everywhere in sports. Is Kaepernick to blame for the Olympics? Of course not. Is Kaepernick to blame for Around the Horn and PTI? The ratings are down everywhere that's not politics, and the ratings for politics, Kevin, are through the roof. This is not a Kaepernick thing. The NFL's got a problem. It's called Trump. He's sucking 10% out of all sports programming, whether it's opinion shows, debate shows, games, networks. We're facing it. The only reason we're surviving at Fox is because Dak and the Cowboys is a real story. Tony Romo's always been polarizing. The Cowboys are wildly popular, and we show Cowboy games. CBS shows the AFC. Brady's gone, Manning's gone, and the Trump factor. If Kaepernick's the problem, then why, before Kaepernick, are sports ratings down the last 6 months? Because we have a presidential cycle with two candidates throwing haymakers at each other. Peter King now joining us in the Global Cowherd Satellite Network. He's in New York City. But I'll just ask you. I think it's Trump and Hillary. Why are the ratings down 10% around the NFL, Peter? What's your idea? Can we hear Peter King? There we go. There we go, Peter. I'm sorry we couldn't hear you. Fire away again.
Well, look, if you don't have Brady and Manning, those are 1 and 2 in your instant ratings over the last 10 years, probably in the NFL.
That's right.
So that is huge. And you're right about the election. Everybody wakes up every day to see what's happened with the election. And Colin, the other thing is, just in my opinion, like, a season needs to get formed first. It could be 2 weeks from now, we will all be living and dying with everything that Carson Wentz says, does, and every pass he throws. It could be.
Yeah.
Or there could be another guy. Dak Prescott could be through the roof, or Jimmy Garoppolo could come back. I mean, you just don't know. A season takes on a personality, and this one has not been formed yet.
Surprised at all by Carson Wentz. Now, he has Doug Peterson, Frank Reich. They come from Andy Reid. I mean, Peterson comes from he played in the NFL. But I got to tell you, Carson Wentz, you guess North Dakota State, Peter. Is it surprising you and your sources?
Well, I'm surprised, no question about it. And I think people around the league are surprised. I think the majority of people entering the draft thought that Carson Wentz was going to be a better player long-term than Jared Goff was going to be. So obviously, I mean, look, the Eagles now, I mean, Howie Roseman getting a 1 and either a 3 or a 4 for Carson Wentz or for Sam Bradford rather, enabling and allowing Carson Wentz to play opening day looks like an incredible move right now. But it also looks like a great move for the Vikings because, Colin, what is going to happen? Think about this. What's going to happen 8 months from now when Teddy Bridgewater's rehab is coming along just fine? Rick Spielman's going to be able to turn around and trade one of those guys for a 1+. So that trade is going to be the gift that keeps giving.
Listen, I said this. I understand Chicago has a history of struggling at quarterback. But you get to a point with Jay Cutler where I don't know if he's the greatest leader. I don't know if he gets along with offensive coordinators. He's got a losing record. He's been in this league 11 years. He didn't win at college either. There is something to say beyond he's got a good arm. I mean, Chicago's now in a division with a loaded Viking roster. Aaron Rodgers. Matt Stafford's got real talent, and since Jim Bob Cooter became the offensive coordinator, he's a pretty darn good quarterback. Couldn't I make the argument that this relationship with Cutler and Chicago could end and Chicago wouldn't be that much worse?
I agree, Colin. I mean, Ryan Pace, the general manager, who I like a lot of the Chicago Bears, has got a huge decision to make at the end of this year. Do you cast your lot with Jay Cutler, who is a meh leader, and who basically is, you're right, he's a 500 quarterback, 68 and 70 or whatever he is in his career. Do you cast your lot with him, or do you say, you know what, I trust that I can find.
And we just lost Peter King. I was really into that story.
Yeah, that was awful timing. He just went completely out.
Yeah, I was really into that story. He was giving me all sorts of really quality information, and somebody pulled the plug. First it was audio, then it was video. We knew he was running. They said he's running up the street in New York, and I'm like, well, I hope he's not just gassed and tired. Well, we'll try to get Peter King back. When you look at the Jay Cutler situation, I really come back to a really simple thing. Is when you look at all these quarterbacks, it's almost like a relationship. Do you want to grow old together? I mean, that's what you have to ask yourself, because you're going to draft for him. You're going to hire coaches for him. Carson Wentz, good mood, happy kid, running around, coachable. You can live, that relationship feels like, oh, okay, that's fine. You get into these RG3s or maybe a Kaepernick or maybe a Jay Cutler, and I'm not sure. Are they uniting? Are they dividing? Do they get along with people? I remember Jay Glazer reporting a year ago with Colin Kaepernick that he didn't talk to other players. He was aloof. He was on an island in a locker room. I think this quarterback, I think most positions in the NFL is dating. I think quarterback's marriage. I think you can look at, Greg Hardy is a despicable human. And I think there are coaches that go, okay, for 16 games, I'll deal with it. I have no respect for him. You don't have to grow old or build your team around him. You don't even have to like a lot of the players on your roster. You have to like your quarterback. He's going to be there for 12 years. Like you can think your girlfriend's beautiful and do you like her? Like, can you be in space? It can't be about the honeymoon. It can't be about the vacations. It's got to be about, can you sit on the couch with that person in your life for the next 25 years and it's a Tuesday night and you can just get along? Like with Jay Cutler, I just don't think I could get along with him. I think it'd be very, very difficult. We'll try to go back to New York and get Peter King. We will try. Hey, get rid of your heat-trapping mattress and upgrade to a Casper. It was invented with 2 high-tech foams that guarantee you sleep cool and comfortable with all the support you need. No more waking up in the middle of the night drenched in sweat. Time magazine named it one of the best inventions of 2015. They also have new sheets and new pillows, just as comfortable. Now, it ships for free, and after 100 nights, if you don't like it, they eliminate it. Take it home. 100 nights. Doesn't work. That's okay. $50 toward the purchase of your first mattress if you go to Casper.com and use the code HERD.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Listen up, y'all. Ben Phillips, Home Rate Mortgage, 805-9100. I'm in the business of saving people money. And if you want to save money, pick that cell phone up right now. 805-9100. I received a call that I won't forget. The guy is a Chattanooga police officer who served our great country in the Air Force. A true American hero. Our hero was renting, which cost too much for a space too small. We helped him achieve the American dream. And the best part is this. He purchased a $180,000 home with zero down. His payment is $200 less than what his rent was. And now he has a safe place with more space to raise his family. It's easy, and you can do it too. It just takes 10 minutes and one phone call. 805-9100.
Turn a house into a
Shooter Supply. Any A-frame. 20% off. 10% off. 5% off. Everything in the store's on sale. 5, 10, 20. September sales days. Shooter Supply. Handguns, carry permit classes, ammo and gear. You get 5% off of firearms. 10% off of ammo and gear. 20% off of all handgun carry permit classes. Shooter Supply. September sales days. But you gotta get here now. It's ending soon. Shooter Supply. Any A-frame. We're on Hickson Pike, right around the corner. Right next to the Holiday Inn Express. Shooter Supply and Indoor Range. Shooters-range.com. Order online. Shooters-range.com. September sales days.
All systems go.
Got a printing project on deadline? Advantage Printing in Brainerd offers the highest quality one-stop service in Chattanooga. Graphic design, printing, addressing. Don't create a mailer unless you first check with Alan about the latest postal hassle. He'll handle the whole thing for you. Advantage Printing. Your advantage is in our name. 4031 Brainerd Road next to the Bilo. Print digital or offset, wide format, engineering drawings, start to finish. Advantage Printing. Check the details with Alan. 629-1800. That's 629-1800.
All systems go.
Wow, we're not in Kansas anymore. Check out all these awesome guitars, amps, pedals, banjos, and so much more.
Suddenly, you're transported. You are on stage. Anticipation. Your fans are counting on you. You begin to play. Ecstasy, excitement, artistry and chaos, thundering applause, rock and roll.
Charvel, Gretsch, Supro, Jackson, EVH. Fulfill your dreams. Guitar, piano lessons, and more. Located at the corner of Boy Scout and Middle Valley Road in Soddy Daisy. Judah Guitar Music Store, where all your wildest dreams come true. Call 423-618-9911. Judah Guitar Music Store, where all your wildest dreams come true.
Expect lots of sunshine out there through your afternoon. Warming up, highs later on near 90 tonight. Fair, comfortable again, lows into the lower to middle 60s. For the midweek, not much change. Still looking dry for the next several days with hot afternoons and mild nights and highs of around 90. The workday is unpredictable. Are you ready? Let Cintas help you get there. Cintas is your source for mats, uniforms, cleaning programs, and more. Get started at Cintas.com. Cintas, ready for the workday. And I'm Short Sheen 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ford.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, with your chance to win $124 in cash and $124 in food every week with the Hot News Talk Radio 1, 2, 3 NASCAR contest.
Hot News Talk 1240.
All you have to do is guess who's going to be first, second, and third place in the upcoming NASCAR Sprint Cup race. If you guess it, you'll hear your name live Monday morning at 11:30. Then call AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio to win. Enter your guess right now at Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, 5301 Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. Diesel Off-Road Technology, Soddy Daisy. For your four-wheel drive and truck needs, stuff and upholstery with premium rubber foam. Amigos Mexican Restaurant next to Staples and Hickson. Drink specials during the race. Cell Surgeon, the Broken Screen Doc. And Shooter's Supply, 4824 Hickson Pike in Hickson.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Enter your guesses now and then listen to the race live to win $124 in cash and $124 in food from Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240.
I love NASCAR. And coming to a stadium near you, we'll be giving away thousands of free stuff, playing games, and registering you to win big prizes. Go online to tailgatetour.com. Let's go! Or find us on Facebook for your chance to win over $50,000 in prizes. Tailgatetour.com is your destination to win big this football season. Give it up! Hit him with it, hit him with it, hit it. Want to hit up Colin?
Follow my Twitter account.
Twitter at Colin Cowherd. Or call 877-757-HERD. Now back to the Herd with Colin Cowherd. Live from Los Angeles.
The Herd brought to you by TrueCar. Save time and money. Download their app. See what others paid. You could save $3,000 off MSRP. Let's go back to Peter King on the Cowherd Global Satellite Network, Monday Morning Quarterback Editor-in-Chief. And we were talking about Carson Wentz, which has been amazing, and Jay Cutler in Minnesota. Peter, I want to stay on quarterbacks. Let's go to Kirk Cousins, where a story developed yesterday that teammates are now tentative and anxious about Kirk Cousins, and many may be questioning if he's the long-term answer. What do you make of that?
I make that it's been 8 quarters, and if players are saying that, and I have no doubt they are, but if players are saying that, I think that they probably shouldn't say that. I could see saying that through 4 games. Saying it through 2 games is ridiculous, especially after how great Cousins played last year. There's no doubt in my mind that Cousins, if he plays like this another 2 weeks, there's a chance Jay Gruden will go to Colt McCoy. But saying it after 2 games I think it's ridiculous.
Any concern with Seattle? Back-to-back games offensively, first downs are a real struggle with Russell Wilson.
22 possessions, 1 touchdown, and that was in a hurry-up drive against Miami. I mean, they played terrible on offense for 55 minutes against Miami. They played terrible on offense for 60 minutes against the Rams. Their offensive line is a continuing problem. It's the second year in a row that their offensive line is really endangering Russell Wilson's health. He's already got a high ankle sprain. And you see when Russell Wilson isn't as mobile as he wants to be, that Seattle's offense even goes down another notch. So I don't think that there's any magic bullet that, or magic pill the Seattle offense can take to get well. I think this is going to be a slog for them until they get the offensive line right.
I'm cautious with Dak Prescott because he does have a good O-line in Des Bryant, but he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass, and I just don't know how good Washington is. What do you make of his development? What are you hearing?
If you had said that the 135th pick in the draft was going to come in, and when no other backup quarterback in the last 3 years has played even remotely decent for the Dallas Cowboys, is going to come in and lose a 1-point game in the opener and decisively beat Washington in game 2, you'd be throwing a parade down Commerce Street in Dallas. So I wouldn't be too worried about him, and I think that he reminds me a lot right now of Romo at a very young age. When Romo first came in and started playing for Bledsoe, Romo wasn't, throwing for 400 every week either. I just think they're trying to manage him. I think they could take the restrictors off him a little bit and throw a little bit more downfield. But I think Prescott is going to continue to play well.
So in Monday Morning Quarterback, Peter King joining us, you have a story on Jacoby Brissett, who suddenly now is leading the offense, at least for a week. Garoppolo, I think, looks like the real deal. I don't think it's just system. I said this yesterday, Peter. Belichick's drafted 8 quarterbacks in New England, not named Brady, and this is the first one that looks like he has some Brady qualities. But the kid behind Garoppolo probably plays Thursday, and you guys did a story on him this week.
Well, our Jenny Varentis just wrote about him today. He's a mentee of Bill Parcells, of all people. Parcells, living down in Jupiter, Florida, has basically helped a lot of high school kids down there in that area in southeastern Florida who have gone on to play college football. Jacoby Brissett is one of them. There's 3 or 4 other ones that he's close to. And look, I think Parcells' mantra with Jacoby Brissett is just the same way as Belichick's mantra is going to be with him now. You're one play away. And that's exactly what has happened here. The reason why I think the Patriots are going to be in pretty good hands, and I don't know if they'll win Thursday night. That's a really hard game for them against maybe the best defensive front in football.
Yeah.
A healthy J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless. Everybody is back on that defense with the exception of Cushing. That it's going to be a tough one. But I think that the game management style of Josh McDaniels is going to help Jacoby Brissett have a shot. Okay, so Andrew Luck. Listen, there's a stat I saw this week that Blake Bortles has 3 first-quarter touchdowns in his NFL career. And, there's some coaches that are not great game planners out of the gate. Bill Walsh was. Bruce Arians is. There are certain coaches in this league that jump out to fast starts. Okay, Andrew Luck got a defensive coordinator, Chuck Pagano, and Blake Bortles has a defensive guy, Gus Bradley, and both are awful in the first quarter. I like Andrew Luck, but his first quarter numbers, Peter, are staggeringly, dauntingly horrible. I mean, is there any explanation for it? No, I think the only explanation, I think in both those places, although there's defensive-minded head coaches, I mean, it's, those are not the guys who are making the play calls, on offense. It's not like Chuck Pagano, was telling, hey, listen, go really conservative in the first quarter, or Gus Bradley either. I mean, I think right now when you look at these two teams, the biggest problem that they both have is getting the running game going. I think TJ Yeldon has been a disappointment the first 2 weeks, and that offensive line. And look, there's no secret. I mean, good thing that Ryan Grigson drafted Ryan Kelly, the center from Alabama, with the first pick. He's going to be there for a decade and be really good. But they need to make
frustrated. NFL is run by two Republicans.
I would be shocked.
Yeah.
I think that's what you say to a pollster, but I think it's a pile of crap.
Yeah, I agree. Peter King, Monday Morning Quarterback, editor-in-chief. Read it now. Go there now. Thanks, Peter. You bet. We got extra Peter King today. We got like 10 and a half, 12 minutes of Peter King. That was very good stuff. It just came in 2 segments. It's like you had...
failed us.
Yeah, what happened to the Cowherd Global? You know, one of our engineers has had a whooping cough and has just been uneasy and off, and things happen. Yeah, I don't. Polls are very. First of all, this weekend, like a lot of the protests weren't shown on television, so I didn't even see them.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some. Okay. So you're answering the phone.
Okay. Hello. Oh, hello.
Oh, hi. I'm a pollster. What is your name?
I don't want to talk to you.
I'd like to ask you some personal questions. Would you listen to me?
Okay.
Okay. How active is your social life with men?
That's none of your business.
Exactly. That's my point, is that you're either going to say it's none of your business or you're going to lie to make yourself look good. And I say this all the time. It's when I see these surveys, I don't try. Have you seen these political surveys? Trump up by 7, Hillary up by 4. That's like how do you get there? I don't buy it. We got to go third hour coming up. I heard. Over $1 million in total prizes up for grabs this weekend at DraftKings.com, the destination for one-week fantasy. No season-long commitments. Play when you want with the players you want. Just pick your contest, draft your team, and follow the action live. Use the code HERD at DraftKings.com now and play free with your first deposit. That's HERD to play free for your share of over $1 million in total prizes this weekend. Only at DraftKings.com. Eligibility restrictions may apply. See site for details.
Dollar Shave Club started by delivering their amazing affordable razors. Now there's so much more. They've invested millions developing their own original pre- and post-shave formulas, skin protection formulas, killer hairstyling products that I use, and literally the most amazing soap and body wash. I get all my grooming stuff now from Dollar Shave Club. And now new members can get their first month free. There's no commitment, no hidden fees. Cancel whenever you want. Get your first month free at DollarShaveClub.com/Colin. Just pay shipping. After that, only a few bucks.
Geico applauds your inner ride leader.
An enthusiastic engine rev goes out to the biker in you who leads the pack. Even if that pack is a party of one, you're still a leader to Geico. To prove it, Geico will insure your motorcycle with great rates and 24/7. The smell of fine leather and trailblazing is in your feet.
Geico motorcycle. See how much you could save.
Not available in all states. Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own Reese and Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com and enter promo code 3030. That's froyofranchising.com, promo code 3030.
You had to decide who deserves to go to college. Who would it be? A single mom coming back to class with dreams of being a nurse? Or a high school grad intent on a biotechnology career? A police officer learning more about Homeland Security? Or an out-of-work technician who needs new skills to get a job? Every American deserves a chance for a better future. And community colleges are that gateway for millions of Americans. Our communities and local businesses depend on the students we educate. Today, enrollment at community colleges is growing dramatically, but funding to serve these students is not keeping pace. We need your support to keep the door of opportunity open for all. Important futures are riding on community colleges, including our nation's. Community colleges, the face of America, the future of America. This message is from the American Association of Community Colleges.
It can happen suddenly and without warning. It strikes individuals and families with equal cruelty. There is no way of stopping it.
Oh my God. John?
Your energy bill is
Wake
coming.
up. Wake up. Oh, can you hear me?
Please,
It's me, John.
be prepared when energy prices go up.
Talk to me. Come on, baby.
Visit the Alliance to Save Energy website to order your free Power Smart booklet.
John?
It contains simple, painless ideas to lower your energy bill.
Call 911.
Like installing energy-efficient Energy Star appliances that can save you hundreds of dollars a year.
Oh, where?
Oh, thank God you're all right. What happened?
I came in, opened this bill.
This one here?
Yeah. Honey, wake up. Wake up. Wake up, honey.
This kind of shock can be avoided. Visit ASE.org for your free Power Smart booklet.
We are people of all ages, from different walks of life. We have hopes and dreams, but live in a reality filled with pain. We are the family and friends of alcoholics. We struggle to keep the peace, to make things right. But our lives are not our own. They are controlled by someone else's drinking. We may be different, but we have one thing in common. We want our lives back. If you need help, call Al-Anon and Alateen at 1-888-4-ALANON or visit our website at www.alanon.alateen.org. To help them, you have to help yourself first.
Let's go! Let's get this! Let's go!
I'm Deb Carson. Some good news for the Chicago Bears. Quarterback Jay Cutler is day-to-day with a sprained right thumb, but he won't need surgery, according to Chicago coach John Fox. Bears started the season 0-2.
Is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. And Elliott Powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocks him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Here at Live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station. Hot News Talk 1240.
The voice of NASCAR. You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy.
Charlie Whitehurst as insurance. Mets lefty Steven Matz is throwing a bullpen session tomorrow. Could return Friday against the Phils.
Last hour on the Herd.
You want to know why Carson Wentz is going to work? Doug Peterson, who worked under Don Shula, Andy Reid, and Mike Holmgren, is on that headset. Carson Wentz is going to succeed because they built this football team to let him succeed.
There's more to come right now in the herd.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
You guys can laugh at me all you want.
This is the herd.
The herd.
With Colin Cowherd.
I'm setting the tone.
Best show on radio.
This is the herd.
Broadcasting live from Los Angeles. The herd with Colin Cowherd starts now.
This is the herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we're live in Los Angeles on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio. I think we're on Fox Sports Go right now. Well, I don't know. Something like that. Christine Leahy, who has an incredibly sore neck.
Can you tell?
Oh yeah, you're kind of pivoting.
I just can't even move. Have you ever had that happen to you?
Yeah, once.
What'd you do to get rid of it?
It was a Thanksgiving 20 years ago, and I was playing Nerf ball with a bunch of kids in the backyard. I stepped into a hole. Next morning, I woke up, could not move for 2 days. It was unbelievably painful.
Yeah, it is. How did you fix it?
Went to a chiropractor.
That sounds scary.
No, chiropractors are fascinating. Like, you go to a chiropractor, and you sit down. You could even go. I could go right today, and you'll sit there, and like you'll hear this crunching. And they do these wacky, magical maneuvers with your back. John, have you ever gone to a chiropractor before? Oh, God, they're great.
I've done it before, but I feel like my neck is so stiff and so in so much pain.
Well,
if you did it, it would like break.
Yeah, I've gone to a chiropractor probably 4 times, and I haven't gone in years and years and years. I try to do a little yoga or stretching or whatever I have to do so I don't have to do it, you know? Mm-hmm. And I stretch better than I used to. But the chiropractor, they always got such a bad reputation. Like chiropractors, they're wax, they're this, they're that. But in the instances I used them, it did seem to help.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people say they're like the lowest of the totem pole of doctors.
Yeah, I don't know where they are on the totem pole, but I know that almost every medical professional I've ever dealt with is amazing. Like I've never had a bad doctor.
Wow.
Well, I had a bad guy at a clinic. I guess he's a doctor. Yeah, I had a bad guy at a clinic.
What kind of a clinic?
Well, I had
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I had years ago I was in Southern California and I had a real stomach issue for a day. And the guy kept guessing what it was, and I'm like, no, I think it's this. And for like 4 hours he kept me there, kept guessing, and I'm like, no, I think it's this. And I was right. And he kept guessing, and I kept saying, nah, I think it's just this. I mean, maybe he was trying to get x-rays to make money or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, doctors do that.
So I saw Tim Tebow's number 15 Mets jersey tops the day sales for online shops in Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Tebow's jersey. This sums up baseball's problem. They don't know how to create stars. Like there's just certain devices. The Voice creates stars. UFC, soccer, NFL, NBA. It's not happenstance. The NBA, front and center, knows how to create stars. From the video games to the imagery to their marketing and promotions, the NBA has great relationships with Nike and Adidas and Under Armour to create stars because they know the bigger the stars, the bigger the league. Major League Baseball doesn't know how to do it. Mike Trout lives an hour from me. He's invisible. He's invisible in Los Angeles. I mean, I can't imagine how invisible he is in Kansas City or Cincinnati. He's invisible. He could be the best player in baseball. And so it's a sport that just doesn't really understand how to do it. Manny Machado for Baltimore is good looking. He's a good looking dude. He's a great player. He's polarizing. In the NBA, they put him front and center. In baseball, invisible outside of Baltimore. I mean, this guy's been in fights. He's good looking. He's a great player. He's got pizzazz. He's invisible. And so like certain sports just aren't built for it. Yasiel Puig, you went to a Dodger game last night.
I did.
What jerseys are kids wearing?
Puig jerseys.
Yeah, and baseball pushes back. No, he's not. Doesn't play the game the right way. It's not hard to figure out. I even talked to Rob Manfred about this, their commissioner. Like, millennials watch players over teams. They're loyal to Kershaw over the Dodgers. So create stars. And baseball has the hardest time. Why do you think ESPN's going into a relationship with WWE? Because they see the ratings and they know that WWE has a history of about once a year, once every 2 years, creating a mega star. The Rock now is the #1 box office star. So, these leagues, it's not hard to figure out. If you want to get young viewers, soccer, UFC, wrestling, NBA, it's all the sports that elevate stars. What do young people not watch? Baseball. The sport that struggles creating stars. So the fact that, and Tim Tebow is a star, whether you like him or not, he is a star. He's got a big-time marketing team behind him, promoting him as a star. The fact that he can go into a sport he hasn't played in 12 years and more people buy his jerseys is really an indictment of baseball. In fact, I would say the biggest star in baseball right now is the Cubs.
Yes.
It's like history. It's not even a player. It's just a team. And, that's why we're so excited because we have the National League playoffs and the World Series. They really move the needle. The other thing I'm sitting here watching, one of the things I remember as a kid, the first sporting event I ever remember watching as a kid that I just remember, and it probably wasn't the first, but it's the first one I remember watching, was it was 1972. So I was 8 years old. I was born in 64, 1972. I'm 8 years old. And I remember watching two things. I remember watching the Washington-Miami Super Bowl that the Miami Dolphins won, I think, 14-7. Garo Yepremian made a big mistake, but the Dolphins still won with Bob Greasy, Warfield, Zonka. They won 14-7. And that same year, I watched the Lakers-Portland Trailblazer game on the small black and white TV. Wilt Chamberlain. And it's so funny. Somebody will find it. I remember it was a Sunday game, and it was CBS. Brent Musburger was doing the play-by-play. Portland was playing the Lakers, and Wilt Chamberlain had a headband on. And I started watching the game, and the Lakers were leading. And then I fell asleep as a kid, and I woke up, and Portland won in Portland. Maybe it was Portland. Maybe it was Raw. I don't remember where it was, but I remember that game. And one of the things, so I've always... of the sports I started to watch, I love baseball because I listen to it on radio. But one of the things I was thinking about the other day watching football that I really like about football, and other sports don't offer this, if a baseball team goes on a 6-game losing streak, you can point to individual pitching lapses, but a lot of times it's just good pitching and you can't hit it. In basketball, if you go onto a 6-game losing streak, it's often you don't have enough really high-end players. But it's hard to blame the coach because you don't know the plays. And in baseball, it's hard to blame the manager because you don't know the hit and runs, what's happening. Football is the only sport in America that you can, as a fan, blame a coach, and you can be right. And it can be an educated guess. This weekend was a prime example. When you watch USC's offense, they're poorly coached. When you watch Notre Dame's defense, they're poorly coached. When you watch Jacksonville's offense, the Jags, it's poorly coached. It's really what is fun. You can play along in football. It doesn't take much in football. You could watch Brady Hoke at Michigan, and you just knew offensively that was not a very sophisticated offense. It was not a very smart offense. And you can watch Clay Helton at USC, and he had the wrong quarterback starting, and he had the wrong coordinators hired. Like, football is really a play-along sport. As long as you put the pom-poms down, as long as you're not totally biased and completely obsessed with your fantasy players or a certain team, like, you can see good and bad, and you can see good and bad coaching on display. It's right out in front of you. I mean, it doesn't take much to watch the Rams offense and know that it is remedial. And it doesn't take much last night to watch Monday Night Football and know that Philadelphia's offense is really clever and really unique, from the sets to the play calling. It's really well coached. And it's funny. It's harder sometimes to play along in basketball, hockey, and baseball. But, football lets me. I'm watching Philadelphia last night, and I'm like, I can see the coach. I can see him yelling signals. I can watch the creativity. I can listen to the analysis. I can see the play develop. It's like, yeah, that's a well-coached offense. That's a really well-coached offense. Well, Doug Peterson used to be with Andy Reid, then Mike Holmgren, then Don Shula. He quarterbacked in the league for 10 years. Then he brings over Frank Reich, who's a very respected quarterback coach. And I don't know much about Doug Peterson, but you were watching last night really, really high-end offensive coaching. Totally engaged, played in the league, young coach. He's moved up. He went from like special assistant, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, NFL head coach. I didn't know anything about him. And when they hired him, I'm like, what is this guy? Who is this guy? But my bad. I'm watching last night, and I'm like, that is good offensive coaching, and it jumps right out at you. Like, it's hard to do that. When you watch Ohio State and Urban Meyer, You can watch. I watched that Ohio State-Michigan game last year. That may have been the most brilliantly called offensive football game I've ever seen. And Harbaugh knows what he's doing. Between J.T. Barrett and Urban Meyer, there was a symmetry in that game that was unbelievable. You watch Tom Herman at Houston dismantle Oklahoma with better athletes. So I like last night was fun for me. It's like, okay, that offense is brilliantly well coached. And even in Chicago, you could see their problem. That's not a very good offensive line right now. So that's just one of the many reasons I love football. That is a big part of it. You can play along as a fan, and fans are short for fanatic, and everybody always wants to blame Jurgen Klinsmann for the U.S. soccer loss or Phil Jackson for, in the rearview mirror, a Laker loss. Football, you can really see bad coaching. Like, it's really obvious. I was telling the staff the other day, Clay Helton against Stanford and David Shaw, that was such a coaching mismatch. And not just Shaw and Helton, the staffs. Like, Stanford was so organized. Stanford always comes out with a POV, a point of view. You know what they're doing. You can watch Stanford and go, you can generally tell a good offensive team or a well-coached team. You can see what they worked on the previous week. Like, I can watch Stanford play, and I'm like, oh, that's what he saw as a weakness. A well-coached team, New England, Alabama, Stanford, Philadelphia. You could watch their offense last night and go, oh, I see what they see. You can play along, even though you're not in a film room. You can play along with teams. At DraftKings.com, you don't need to come in first to cash in. Last week, the player who finished 800th in Week 1's biggest fantasy football contest won $100. This weekend, DraftKings is hosting another huge fantasy contest with over $1 million up for grabs. No season-long commitment. Play when and with the players you want. So don't wait. DraftKings.com. Choose your players. Enter the promo code HERD, and you get a play for free